What's going on? I am Nando.
I'm DJ.
You think that I'm a Diggins and that's just going to be the happy ending to your little fairy tale? I don't think so, bud. Because the moment you realize that I'm Diggins, there's already 30 people all around the world executing code, shooting people, and just doing everything they can to make sure that you never have a second to even realize that I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
You better believe it.
Yeah. This week we are talking about a movie that was a requested one from a winner or donation. I can't remember.
I want to say March Madness, I think.
Oh.
No, Elimination Pool, the football one.
Oh, okay.
I think
Great.
that's what this one was.
Well,
Your guess is as good as mine.
yeah, it is one that it's been on the list for a little while, and it just happened to be the one that was the most watchable. I mean, that's not true.
Whoa. Let's
yeah.
not impugn the likes of Babylon and whatever else
No,
is on the
let's.
list.
We'll see.
Look, it's January, and we all know what that means. It's nothing going on.
Fuck you.
It's time. It's time to go into our bag of debt and just decide, hey, this is what we do now. We get a whole bag of debt. That's what we've decided.
It's like we've gone to college.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's a speaking of January, that reminds me of this week's news, which is that they're making another Jason Statham movie. Pretty good. It's not in January though, it's in March. Did you guys see this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the working man.
A working man.
Oh, excuse me.
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone, right? It was the beekeeper. Now it's a working man.
I see. So there's multiple working men.
I guess so. I mean, there were multiple beekeepers too. Although, were there? Or was that organization
the one in the movie
closed?
That comes after him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she didn't seem to be as good. We think we talked about this at the time, but she was not as good at beekeeping as he was, in both sense of the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was quite bad at beekeeping.
Yeah.
But this movie, have you guys seen the trailer for this? It's another Jason Statham movie.
I haven't seen the trailer, but I'm certain I've seen the trailer.
I don't think anything in it will surprise me.
It's like Jason Statham. First of all, it's by David Ayer of Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad, whichever one's the bad one. I can't remember.
Don't prejudge Diggins. Give the man a chance.
I feel like David Ayer made something
so
we
many
liked.
Chances.
Well, didn't he also make Beekeeper? Yeah. So, this man, it could be great. So he's like, I'm going to make Beekeeper again. And it's this time he's a guy who works on a construction site, just a normal everyday guy with a background in, I don't know, SEAL Team 6 or whatever, like usual. And then someone gets human trafficked. Someone gets taken. And then he has to get him back. And he's just a regular old working man.
So they're doing the union? Is that what this is?
I think it's a more beekeeper-y kind of union, but kind of. There's like another guy in the trailer, and I'm like, this guy's someone I should probably know.
Would you say it's like if the beekeeper cross-pollinated with the union?
Yeah, more or less. I didn't realize this until now. This also has David Harbour in it.
Hey.
You know what it is? His character is blind. He is a blind archer. And I think I saw that and went, well, they probably hired a blind. This is probably some real blind person or something. How would I know who that is? But good for them for hiring a real blind archer guy. When in reality, that probably isn't a real thing. Probably not that many blind sharpshooting archers out there. So
I mean, there's probably a lot of blind actors who could pretend to be archers.
Yeah.
But that's not, you got to be a real archer these days. You got to be like, I don't know. Remember when like they made all the Archer movies and all the archers would come out and be like, Hawkeye sucks at archery. Like he didn't do the right thing with his elbows and shit. And Katniss is bad at archery. Now that really ruined everybody.
As opposed to all the other professions that are portrayed extremely accurately in movies and television shows.
Like all these working men. Mm-hmm. He's like a construction worker, which means it's mostly sledgehammers, it seems like, but he can catch an arrow midair. Also, no, never mind. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, maybe he can. He actually just pulls it off of a tree. But yeah, I'm sure he can.
Didn't Robin Hood do that? I think that was a Robin Hood thing.
Well,
right in the most
I
recent
don't know
Robin Hood with Taron Egerton.
Oh, did he catch an arrow? That's cool.
Maybe I can never remember what they're doing.
I mean,
I saw that one.
We did it for the pod.
See it?
That was before my time.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Wait a second. Okay, so someone shot a bow at an arrow at him, and did he use it to reload his own bow immediately?
Yes,
that's what you would want from that.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
He caught it in his hands. I feel like if you can do that, you're pretty much invincible in the olden days. You know, like
I know
we don't have any. Yeah, you can just catch all the arrows. Really concentrate on that, and I guess if they bring a sword, then you're fucked. But for the arrow part of the fight, you're just crushing it.
And if you stand in the back, they're not even getting to you with swords, right? Like you're
not even a little bit.
Arrows, yeah.
Yeah.
And you never run out of arrows because they fire them at you, and you're just like,
That's right. I mean, the only problem is when do you get time to shoot the arrows back at them? And I guess it's once they run out of arrows.
Yeah.
But who's your favorite archer in the world? Could be real, could be fake.
Ever.
Well,
I have an answer, but it's a bad answer.
Who is it?
Okay, so I went to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair this past summer, and there was this lady who she was like a gajillion years old, and she was just like, she had a bow, and she started like, oh, I'm gonna shoot like 10 feet from the target. Oh, now I'll make it like 15 feet from the target, and like then eventually she's like a football field away from the target, and she's still like throwing these arrows up and like hitting the target, and like meanwhile she's just like spitting facts about archery, like how it started and how like the French like took away everyone's like crossbows because they were scared and stuff like that during the Revolution. I think that's what she said. But it was like, oh, we'll just get bows, and it was just like, wow, just what a cool lady. So
during the Revolution when guns existed. Interesting.
I remember. I'm probably misremembering poorly, but
well, she didn't know all this stuff. She was just saying, like, obviously she had a lot of other stuff to deal with all the archery that she had to do live. So she was just saying, and then they took all the things, and then this guy made a whole hat of Jello. And you're like,
especially since apparently she was throwing the arrows, Nando. Like that's really impressive.
That is hard. I mean, if you need to do that, then you could catch and throw the arrows. You don't even need the bow. Just catching and throwing them all right back.
Yeah,
so
that's incredible.
So she's my favorite.
Wow. What about you, Diggins? Who's your favorite archer?
Shiro Emiya.
Who's that?
I'm not going to explain, but a bunch of people just learned something about me.
Ooh.
Very good.
What about you, Nando?
Blind archer David Harbour from The Working Man, or A Working Man, obviously. But
obviously.
Just from the trailer alone, when I thought it was a guy that wasn't David Harbour, I was pretty convinced. But now the best archer is probably who is it? Let's see. It's the Fox, right? Like the Fox is the best. The Fox Robin Hood is the best Robin Hood.
He's the sexiest. I don't know if that makes him the best.
I mean, at best at being an archer, he's still really good at being an archer because he does the thing in that movie where he splits the arrow in half by shooting the other arrow at it, right?
That's true.
That's a pretty A+ archery skill. The only other version of that I can think of is like, doesn't Brave do something like that?
Oh yeah, I think Brave does do something like that.
I think she to win her own hand does everybody likes Brave. Remember Brave? What happens at the end of Brave?
She's not a bear anymore, I think.
Who?
Mom's not a bear anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
how did they make her not a bear?
By loving each other.
Yeah,
like
Merida learns the lesson that she was a bad daughter. I don't know. I saw that movie exactly once and I hated it, so that's where I stand. It's funny too. It is my mother-in-law's absolute favorite movie. Merida's like absolute favorite Disney princess, even though she's not a princess. But like,
literally is.
She technically is. If you ask,
she's on the list and everything.
List.
Is she? All right, whatever. Well, whatever. It's like her absolute favorite, and I'm just like every time I just can't. I want to burst out and be like, I fucking hate that movie, man. It's so bad. But
maybe you should watch it again with the eyes of a father.
That's true.
Oh my god, would that change it?
It's literally like completely about parenthood.
Oh man.
Maybe you should watch it again with the eyes of like a Scotsman, like
It sounds like I gotta give this movie a shot, even though I don't
Eat
want
some
to.
haggis. Oh, no, I didn't like it either. I don't think it's very good. But, I mean, I feel like compared to the other ones, it was part of that, like, downward spiral of Pixar where it all,
Fell
it all
apart.
went bad. Yeah. I don't remember what was after that. Monsters University, maybe? Good Dinosaur? I don't know.
Didn't hate Monsters U.
What happens at the end of that one?
It's like fine, but it's not amazing.
Well, I mean,
What does that one teach you about being a father? Is there any fatherhood in it?
I think there's zero fatherhood. I mean, but if anything, there's more fatherhood in Monsters Inc.
No, I'm not thinking about it. Yeah, but like, so they don't have kids, right? Do you think Mike Wazowski can mate with the snake-haired woman?
With Celia?
They seem different species of monster, but maybe they're not. I mean, he doesn't have genitals, but like, can even their DNAs mix?
He could have some kind of sheath that we
That's
just
true.
don't see.
Yeah, we don't see it. But yeah, like in like a future of the Monsters Inc., if they made Monsters Inc. 2, which I'm sure they will once enough desperation sets in or whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Is there gonna be like a one-eyed snake baby thing rolling around, or do you just get a whole new kind of monster, like big purple furry monster comes from that, or like
Grimace?
Because is that where Grimace comes from, and the Fry Guys, and all the McDonald's guys, all the McDonald's monsters from our childhood?
I hope so.
Me too. What happened with Grimace last year? Wasn't there some weird Grimace thing? I forgot about it already.
Grimace supported the New York Mets.
Right.
Oh, well,
yes, that did happen.
That was not good of him. Although
it was all right.
Yeah,
I think we're okay with it.
Was that the same one that the Rizzler liked? Or is he a Yankees fan?
I don't know if there's a relation there, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Well, there was one time when the Rizzler became a fan of one of the teams or something, or Big Justice or whatever. And I don't know if that's the same one as the Grimace, but
I think the Rizzler was also the Mets, but I don't quote me on that.
Okay. Good for him. Well, you call in Rizzler, let us know. I don't have a line for that, but if you tweet us a voice memo, we'll listen to it and go, wow, the Rizzler says this.
Just so you know, we totally take your side on the beef against Baby Gronk.
Is there a beef? Have we talked about this before? Maybe we have.
I think.
Is it
How have we talked about this before?
I think we've talked about the idea that this thing exists, and that was it, because none of us knew anything more than that.
Yeah, that's usually our speed, I feel like. Right? We're like, we think we're kind of aware of this, but don't quote us, please.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of speed, this week was the Golden Globes.
Oh, yeah.
And our favorite speedsters apparently got in a fight or something. Does anybody know what's going on with that?
Sonic?
Well, I mean, they're not in Sonic yet, although I could see them being in there in like 5 movies. But no, Vin and The Rock apparently got in some sort of like weird fight or something.
Well,
can you explain this to me?
I don't know what happened after the awards. I watched the Golden Globes because I'm a big loser, but I love Nikki Glaser. So
yeah, she was funny.
Yeah, I liked
her.
her. And Vin Diesel went up to give an award, or to say an award, and The Rock's table, I think, was like right up there because he was at like the Disney Moana table. And Vin goes, like, looks down at him and says, "Sup, Dwayne," and like kind of like chuckles. And it's like, oh, haha, it's funny because they have like their whole thing. But then, like, did more happen after that?
I don't know. I just saw there was drama. Maybe that was the whole drama. Or maybe afterwards they beat each other up in the parking lot.
I think afterwards Vin went up to The Rock and was like, "Yeah, you're getting a lot of press for being a big weirdo, and that's my lane. I'm the big weirdo that no one likes."
It's going to be awkward for The Rock if you're right in the front of the whole thing, because you can't just get up constantly, you know? Like, you got to stay there the whole time. What could he possibly do to solve that problem, you know? 4 hours of presentation, just... what do you do?
Nando's not accusing The Rock of anything.
I hope he figures it out, whatever it is. But what was I going to say? Yeah, Vin Diesel, did he even have a movie come out this year? I'm not saying that means you shouldn't get to go, but like, it's kind of a weird idea.
Like, why him?
Yeah, why is he presenting awards at all?
For 9 wasn't this year, right?
No, and he's never won an award.
For 10.
Like, yeah, no, for 10 was 2023. He did not have a 2024 movie. he's too busy complaining about those Fast X movies, and
well, they had to have at least one person who has a credible allegation presenting. It's like in the rules, so
that's fair.
Just like to see like what happens. Like, let's see what's going on here with all this.
Well, otherwise it'll be like, where's the, like Nikki said, there has to be some moment in history where we all look back and go, that guy was right there the whole time. Isn't that crazy?
That was amazing. That was so fucking funny.
Yeah. It's Hollywood's terrible, but I mean, it's the greatest night in Hollywood. Did you guys have any things you actually liked from the Golden Globes? And this DJ watched it. Diggins, did you watch it at all?
Nando, even I have the minuscule amount of self-respect necessary to not watch the Golden Globes.
Wow.
I agree with Diggins. Like I should not have watched, but I do love Nikki Glaser like so much. Like I think she's so cool. So
have you seen her new special?
No,
but you did watch the Golden Globes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it on my list of recs. That's how big of a fan
you are.
Huge fan.
Anything but her specials, apparently. Like the F-Boy Island and stuff.
Oh, we love
Golden Globes.
My God. We love. Oh, guys, come on.
Those are the two things. She I liked her popular bit. That was cute.
That was good.
Diggins, did you see this? She did.
I haven't seen anything from the Golden Globes.
This was, I think, maybe the thing that, I didn't say won me, because I think her monologue was also good, but she did a bit where she came out dressed as Glinda, but with a Pope hat and started singing Popular, but then like a second into it, turned around and went, like, started talking to herself, like in her earpiece, and got an update that it sucks. She was like, what? This whole thing sucks? What are we going to do? I have this other little rap song. Oh, that sucks too? Fuck, we're done. Like, we're in lots of trouble. I thought that was cute. Those things do suck, but they're still kind of fun. DJ, what was your favorite moment besides all those Nikki Glaser jokes?
I thought the two acceptance speeches from the actors from Shogun was like really cool. Like,
who won for that?
It was I think it was best actor. And was it best actor and supporting actor?
I think did the actress, did she win, Anna Sawai, or? I mean, I didn't see her.
I have enough self-respect to not watch the entire Golden Globes. So.
I don't watch the actress portions, Nando. Come on.
Yeah. I know, like, I've seen a lot of interviews with him, the main Shogun guy, Hiroyuki Sanada, I think is his name. Oh man, now I'm gonna get it wrong. Whatever his name is, I've seen interviews with him on like talk shows, and he can, he seems cool. I've never seen the other guy. Now I know who you're talking about, the guy from Shogun who's like spends the whole season going like this. Oh fuck, because everything he does goes wrong. And that guy is like a punk musician or something crazy. Like, I feel like he could come up and give a really weird speech if he wanted to. But
any of them could give a weird speech.
That's true.
It's not a barrier to entry.
I can't remember. I mean, we did this all last week, but did you watch Shogun, TJ?
Nope.
Yeah.
And look, for the rest of the time, I've never watched a TV show. I finished Squid Game. It's a miracle. I'm excited.
They haven't finished it yet, so
Oh wow. Whoa.
I'm saying there's more. I think it ends on like a cliffhanger in a way that I think we need to chide them for constantly.
Probably, and then I see what you're saying. Haha, very funny.
Yeah.
And also Severance. I will watch Severance because I love that show so much.
So I just checked, just so we know this. Hiroyuki Sanada, Anna Sawai, and Tadanobu Asano all won awards that night.
That makes sense.
You love to see it.
But not Cosmo Jarvis, huh? Not that Cosmo one random Jarvis. White guy. Huh? This is the kind of stuff Mike Johnson is trying to fix.
This is why we've got to ban DEI and woke in California, so our good white people in our Japanese shows can win their awards.
That used to be how it was, You would have like a one white guy come up and win the whole thing, and there was even like an SNL sketch about it. I remember kind of recently, where they did that, where like. It was like an Oscar speech. It was actually pretty good, where the bit was an Oscars acceptance thing, and they did like 5 awards, but every award was like a white guy and a black actor. Both of them were in the scene, and as the thing went on, the parts for the white actor got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, but they kept winning all of the awards, and the other actors were all very angry at them. It was funny. So this concludes Nando recaps an SNL skit that is okay.
One of our most recurring
Yep,
sections.
it comes
of the
back
podcast.
so much. They got SNL coming back soon, right? Timmy Chalamet, I think, is doing hosting and doing the music, so that's kind of cool.
Wait, Timothy Chalamet's doing the music?
Yeah, he's doing the music because he's got his like little what's his name, Bob Dylan skills now. So
Wow.
And that band he was in Lady Bird.
that's right, he wasn't abandoned Lady Bird. Yeah,
I
kind of forgot about that.
Long.
I
also
only remember
Nando was questioning the facts on that. Like, no, he wasn't.
No, I wasn't. I
Stop
definitely wasn't
lying.
questioning it like that. I was just more like in my head, like, do I even remember that? And I kind of do, but yeah, he can like really play guitar now because of all his Bob Dylan practice and stuff. So pretty good. Have either of you guys seen that yet?
No.
No,
Bob Dylan.
unless it gets nominated for an Oscar, I don't plan on it because, say it with me, everybody, musician biopics are always bad.
Yeah, except for the 2 or 3 we like. Like, well, one where the guy's a monkey. We love that one, don't we?
Oh man,
Maybe
that's
that'll be
cool.
this one too. Maybe they'll release a monkey cut of the complete unknown, and then we'll like it. They got to use that technology for something.
It's true. They spent all that money developing it.
Yeah, digital monkey technology is just going to go to waste, even though we could put that on every guy. Neither of you guys have seen that, obviously, because nobody saw it. Did you see? Apparently, they acted as if he wasn't a monkey. In the monkey movie.
That's the whole point. Is like he's not literally a monkey.
He's just some
he just
guy.
looks like a monkey. So we're like, he really is different from everyone else.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy. I hope there's not a scene where he's like, my name is Robbie Williams. I'm not a monkey in real life. I'm a guy. And I mean, this is what it is, though, to Americans, because none of us know who this person is. Like, we're vaguely aware of him. He's famous everywhere else. But to us, it seems like a movie where there's some monkey, no context.
Do you think it starts with a scene where there's like people like they're getting ready for a concert and they're like, Mr. Williams, you got to come do this. And we never see him. Like we just see like his back or whatever. He's got a big hat on or something. And then finally, there's a big reveal. He's the monkey. And then record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got in this situation. Well, let me back things up.
Do the voice.
I don't know what the voice is.
Oh,
British, right? I bet you wonder how I got in this. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's British.
Is, though. It's a British monkey.
I know he's
Sometimes
British. I'm just saying I don't know his voice beyond that, and there's many British accents.
It's fair.
Are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is he the only one of these like mega famous actors that everyone else on Earth knows, but for some reason America just doesn't?
Oh no! I mean, there's Bollywood stars. There's like football, like soccer stars.
I mean, I even think they're more popular though. Like, I think Ronaldo can't walk up and down a street in New York City, but I think Robbie Williams maybe could, and just it'd be like that. I mean, maybe it's the best being very famous and then just going to America and nobody knows who you are. Like, that's the dream. But speaking of people being really famous and also kind of, anonymous and walking around and shit, we got to talk about a movie this week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got to talk about Swordfish. I was going to say Squid Game because it was a water thing, but it's Swordfish. This is a movie from, what year is this? 2002?
2001.
2001. Before 9/11.
June 2001.
Before 9/11.
Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that.
Fascinating. Well, yeah, this is a movie. Well, now that makes way more sense. This being a post 9/11 movie. We'll get to it. But anyway, this is because of someone who won the March Madness tournament. Or
Survivor Pool, who knows?
Or whatever. Or Survivor Pool, right. This is a movie that came out 25-ish years ago. And Diggins, you're the IMDb'sman, so take it away.
It's true. So if you're not aware, we play a little game around here called the IMDb B as in spelling bee, where my two esteemed co-hosts have to try to guess what the IMDb summary for this movie is. Now you might be asking yourself, where does IMDb get those summaries? Well, I'll tell you. there is a room in imdb.com headquarters where there is a portal to an alternate universe. Now, this alternate universe is exactly like ours in almost every respect, except there's no monkeys.
Whoa. No
what
Robbie
if the
Williams.
asteroid didn't kill the dinosaurs, much like Dino Hatton? And
No,
then
an asteroid
dinosaurs
still killed the dinosaurs, and humans evolved from our common ancestor with monkeys, but monkeys didn't.
Oh.
So, like, humans exist, but there's no monkeys. So, actually, it actually changed a lot of things you wouldn't expect. For example, everyone accepts evolution.
I was going to say.
When everyone's like, because instead of being like, what, you're telling me I evolved from a kind of monkey? They're like, oh, I evolved from something that doesn't exist anymore? I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, did you see who said that this week?
No.
Yeah, famous podcast guy who we talk about all the time, who we hate, but not Mark Wahlberg. Don't get excited. Mel Gibson, I think, was on the Joe Rogan podcast this week and said he doesn't believe in evolution because he's not a monkey. He doesn't buy it.
Stop it.
Yeah, not like those other
totally
people.
Real.
He then continued.
No, yeah, this is you can Google it. It's
did
real.
Joe Rogan push back, or is it just like, yeah, man, that's heavy, man.
Of course
that's
not.
Heavy. That's
Yeah.
What would he even say?
Has Joe Rogan pushed back on anything ever?
Jamie, can you look that up? Jamie, can you look that up? See if we came from monkeys, Jamie.
I mean, if there's ever been a person, one single person, that could be like right in that thing of like monkeys to guys, it's Joe Rogan. He's like right in the. So if that wasn't enough to convince Mel, nothing would.
Right. So yeah, so it actually causes a lot of differences because of that. It's actually kind of a utopia because everyone decided, like when evolution first got posited and nobody could come up with that monkey defense, everyone was like, well, I guess we have to accept this. And so like science became the order of the day. Nobody accepted any like eugenics theories or anything like that because everyone understood evolution really well. And they're like, well, that's not how any of this really works. So World War II never happened. There was never any fascism. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of like this huge utopia. But it turns out that if nothing bad ever happened since like the mid 1800s, the movies would be bad. All the movies there are really boring and uninteresting.
That's right.
Unfortunately,
you see, and it's like we could have progress, but look at the cost. So maybe instead, let's not have progress.
That's right. Yeah. So what IMDb does is it like interviews people there about what they think movies would be like if they were cool and interesting instead of boring. And those people describe the plots to movies with like, fanciful things like disease and death and racism, things that they couldn't even imagine.
The bad boys are back, they say.
The bad boys, yeah, exactly.
Well, who are the bad boys?
Police brutality, another thing that they don't have, that they're like, how could there be any police brutality? How ridiculous. And then IMDb writes summaries based on those, and some of them, it turns out, are very similar to movies that do exist in our world. Wow. And so they put them up on the website. Now, I have the one for Swordfish right here, the sort of imagining from an alternate universe person. And it reads like an excerpt from a summary more than it does like a succinct description of the movie. And also, whoever wrote this did not care at all about spoilers.
Whoa, really?
Oh.
Yeah, there's stuff in here that are pretty late game reveals.
Okay.
That's wild.
So
right.
it's basically it's not an inaccurate summary, but it is a bad one.
Yeah. I should dig in real quick. Is IMDb doing a good job of guarding the portal from, like, what if a monkey got in? You know? Do you think that would like destabilize their whole thing?
I think so, probably, yeah.
Should we do it so they can have good movies? You know, like
should we save them from bad movies?
Yeah, and Swordfish because I mean, not to say it's a bad movie, but they're not getting any movies. They don't have any art, but they could have stuff like Swordfish. If we just throw a couple monkeys in the thing, in the portal.
Something to consider, certainly.
Yeah, and that's all I got though. So they wouldn't make a Robbie Williams biopic because Robbie Williams wouldn't exist because art would come from like this struggle or whatever. So it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, there is no poverty or like bullying or anything, so he would never be inspired.
I mean, it'd be about as interesting as any of these biopics usually are. It's all the manufactured, Although I hear people say Better Man is good, and I don't believe any of them. But, whatever. Anyway, DJ, I want you to go first because I got to remember what happens in this movie, and I don't remember the end of it.
I'm struggling because I don't know how. Like, I had an idea for a summary, but now Diggins said all that stuff, and I'm like, I guess I have to incorporate all those hints, or else I'm an idiot. So here we go. The world's greatest hacker, Stanley. Oh man, I don't know what his last name. Stanley.
Me neither, so don't worry about it.
Is recruited by Gabriel Shears to work for his mercenary group Black Cell on to obtain the money that has been accrued from the government's operations, from the 1980s government experiment Operation Swordfish. He plans a daring heist to ensure that America will never again be attacked by terrorists, which is his ultimate goal. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's what I got.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to make mine a little shorter, I think. And other things will be different. The world's greatest hacker, Stanley, whatever, is recruited by a group of counter-terrorist thieves, led by the mysterious Gabriel, to crack into a secret government fund called Operation Swordfish.
Okay. Now, neither of you did that well. I don't blame you. This one is really weird.
Okay.
They need monkeys. I think we should throw at least one monkey in there just to get these guys a little bit. Yeah.
I had one idea for a tiebreaker, but honestly, if you don't know it, it's gonna it's a thing that's kind of hard to guess if you don't have some idea. But let's see. Do either of you know why this movie's called Swordfish?
Well, is it the Operation Swordfish thing?
But there's a reason why they use the word swordfish.
Oh. Yes, I do. I think. Kind of.
Oh boy.
It's like a it has something to do with computers, right? Like it's like all the letters on a keyboard or something that you use to type something. I can't remember. SWORT. That doesn't really make sense, does it?
No, that is actually not right at all.
Oh, I thought that. Well, then yeah, I got nothing.
All right.
But what
is it? Because swordfish is tasty and delicious.
It is a reference to a line in a movie that kind of proliferated amongst computer people, and they got referenced in a bunch of movies from this time period about computer stuff. I don't expect you to know the exact movie necessarily, but the movie stars a very famous group. Can either of you guess what this very famous group is?
The Muppets. No, it's not the Muppets.
Is it school act?
There were people who were famous together rather than
Gotcha.
having any kind of independent career.
Rather than having any kind of independent career. I would imagine, then it's probably like those guys. The what's their names? The guys. The fuck are they called? Those three guys.
DJ, it's your guess.
I don't even understand the question. Like, okay.
There is a famous group that made movies. They were a group of people who worked together. They made movies together. They did not have independent careers. They were only famous as this group.
Okay. The Three Stooges.
No, but I like where your head's at.
I was going to say the Marx Brothers. Is it
That's
that?
correct.
The three guys, yeah. I was not sure if they were the Marx Brothers or not. What movie is it?
So it's from the movie Horse Feathers. Swordfish is the password for them to get into a club. And from there, it became like a joke, like over the years, like the password's always Swordfish. And this sort of evolved as this like big computer science joke that then got referenced in movies like this.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. I mean,
Nando won? Did
did I win?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, neither of you guys really treated it like it was a tiebreaker, so it feels kind of weird if I do.
Do you have another tiebreaker in mind or something? Like
I had one that you unfortunately said before we started recording.
Oh, the boobs thing?
Yeah.
It's
Although
important.
it turns out that's not actually true.
What? Jay lied to me? Jay Leno? Not Jay.
Jay Leno
our friend
lied
Jay.
to you.
Jay Leno?
God.
Yeah.
What about
Every single night because he had no jokes because he's hacked? No way. Not Jay Leno.
What about that Thomas Jefferson thing? Was that real? That felt made up.
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
What was the Thomas Jefferson thing?
He shot someone on the White House lawn?
Oh, yeah.
No way he did that. That would be in books or something.
Okay.
You'd think so, right? That's a history they don't tell you.
Like whatever this fucking group was for Operation Swordfish. It's like,
Okay,
Yeah.
here's one.
All right.
You know that scene early on where they're interrogating the Finnish hacker?
Uh-huh.
Vaguely.
That guy is not actually speaking Finnish in that scene. He is speaking a different language. Can either of you guess what language he's speaking? And let's do this actually tiebreaker style.
Okay.
This is going to be bad.
DJ, you get to go first because you guessed first.
I'm going to
Or
say...
you summaried first.
I'm going to say German.
DJ actually just got it in one.
Wow. It's German?
It's German.
You figure people would be able to hear that. It's like, that's one of those
Yeah, they
languages. It's
did.
not like a little language. Oh, yeah, I guess they did. Well, there you go.
I feel like you both got one now.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
both
like,
have one.
I mean,
Is
if
there
you want to
nothing
do
else?
another one.
there's not a lot of good trivia about this movie, is the thing. Maybe I'll do one of those ones that's about the summary itself.
Okay, I love these.
How
Or
was
maybe
the
I'll just
boobs
make
thing-
you guess Stanley's last name over and over again until one of you gets it.
We'll be
couldn't
here all
even.
night.
Yeah, it would take forever. I know it's weird. I remember it being like kind of strange, but I don't remember why.
Is
And
it
my
like
problem-
a last name I could reasonably...
I could give a hint that would make it a lot more feasible.
I mean,
Do they say it in the movie? Like
Yes,
all?
many times.
they must. Yeah. I just think there's part of me that's like, I just fully don't know it. Because my problem with this is whenever I think of Stanley from a movie, I always think of The Mask. And I can't think
You
of a
always
different
Stanley
name.
Tucci.
Stanley Ipkiss. Well, yeah, and he's The Mask in real life. But yeah, I mean, we could try it.
So the
But-
hint would be, nearly every person in this movie, including Stanley, is named after someone who played an important role in like the development of computers or in computer programming generally. Like really, really famous people who you have heard of.
All right. I got one.
All right.
Stanley Jobs.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Is that not it?
Nando? I'm not saying if it is or not.
I mean, I like that one. Can I pick it too?
Yeah, you can pick it.
Stalemate, Stanley Jobs.
Okay. The reason I'm letting Nando pick it is because that is the correct person, but the name isn't Jobs. It's similar, and he's named after Steve Jobs, but it's not Stanley Jobs.
Stanley Jobsman.
Okay.
I was gonna say Stanley Jobs, Steve.
You both got the right form, but you don't have the answer.
Stanley Jobson.
Yeah.
Can you spell that?
Stanley Jobson. Oh my god. Why is it? Am I close? Am I like?
I want you to spell it.
Jobson. J-O-B.
That's not spelling. Okay,
Job.
there you go.
That's like a spelling bee.
You're doing
of
spelling
origin.
bee style. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
Jobson. Jobson. Jobson.
All right.
Jobson.
Nando?
I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say Job.
He's taking this one. I mean, put the S there, right? Do the jobs.
Yeah.
It's not job.
I'm gonna say Job. Could it be though? Yeah, I'm gonna say Job. Wait, what was DJ's? Mine's gonna be Jobson. Is that what DJ said?
Yeah,
that is what DJ said.
Damn it. That's mine too. I don't know.
All right. Well, then we're going to another tiebreaker because it is Stanley Jobson.
Is that what it is? Damn it. I had no idea.
Make Nando go first. The copying can only these scantrons are identical. How we doing with that hour? Doing pretty good, right?
We're doing all right.
Think we're doing pretty good? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The actress who plays his ex-wife was in a very famous TV show.
Who the fuck played his ex-wife?
In fact, she was in 2 famous TV shows, but one was famously not very good.
This is like a reverse name game. It's like figure out the
Yeah.
actress, and I actually like this one.
Does it
I
have
will
any
accept
connection
either.
to the thing?
Not really, no.
Okay.
If you say either of the 2 TV shows, then I'll accept it.
We don't need the actress
or
name, right?
If you say the actress name, you also win, but if you get any of that
Fuck
information,
that.
you don't have to tell me her name.
So we're going for bad TV shows from around that time.
Or great TV show.
Or great. Okay.
Oh god.
She was in a great one, and she was in a bad one.
Okay,
Right.
I'll take a guess at this.
So,
Also, I wouldn't
I go first,
necessarily
right?
say they're both from around that time, necessarily.
Oh.
Well, all right. Just The Wire.
Oh, I was going to say Sopranos. Is it
Nando
either of
is
those?
correct. She was in The Sopranos. She was played by Drea DiMatteo.
Oh, I know her. She was in Joey.
That was the
I
other
remember that.
one.
Yeah. I didn't notice that was her. All
Joey,
right, well, good. I feel good about that.
Show?
The Joey
Yeah.
spinoff. She was his sister. I watched that because I was like, I like Friends enough, but mostly I like the Joey parts. So a Joey show, that'll be perfect. It wasn't perfect, but
It turns out you actually need the other friends.
Mm-hmm. Or Seinfeld or something good, you know?
Nando wins. 'Cause
Wow,
I wasn't
amazing.
able to copy him. If he said Sopranos, I could have said Sopranos.
Well, a reason why I said that is because you both had one chance, and Nando said the right answer.
Well, I guess that's okay.
I wish I had said Joey, but I was like, but that's a good one, right? And then, oh my gosh, do you know how many seasons Joey went for?
Ooh, wait,
2?
new tiebreaker.
More than one, yeah.
5?
It's 2. I know the
It's
answer.
2, but it's 46 episodes of Joey.
Well, back when
That's what seasons used to be
Yeah,
like, man.
I know.
That's
It's
5
crazy.
in modern day. That's 5 seasons in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to be canceled on one streamer and then picked up on another streamer. There'd have to be some sort of writing campaign or something. And you'd still only get to like 30. But
I think it was really brave of Matthew Perry to die to make sure we never got a Friends revival.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think it's brave that have you seen they do a new Friends show where it's like Friends trivia on HBO? It's like they are just getting as much Friends as they possibly can out of the Friends machine. It's quite sad. I'm glad they never did that with Seinfeld. I don't think they did.
Well,
they did that one Curb season where he's doing Seinfeld
I
again.
was going to say, yeah.
But that was about how better. Yeah, I mean,
today.
Do you think they could? Yeah, do you think they could do it?
No.
Well, no, especially not now that Matthew Perry's gone.
Well, I'm thinking like reboot, like new cast,
new
same characters, set in the 90s. Yeah.
I mean, could they? Sure. Would it be any good? I really doubt it.
They keep threatening to reboot The Office, which I think is as close to that as we've come.
They keep doing everywhere else, right? I think we're getting an Australian one.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
I
guess Nando wins.
Nando locks in the first dub
of
2025.
First winner 2025.
He's on his way to Mr. Nitpicking. He breaks the dry spell, all the things that have been done.
Now let me read the actual IMDb summary so you guys can understand how you never had a chance.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A covert counter-terrorist unit called Black Cell, led by Gabriel Scheer, wants the money to help finance their war against international terrorism, but it's all locked away. Gabriel brings in convicted hacker Stanley Jobson to help him.
I was really hoping it would end with wants the money.
Yeah, he wants the money.
They wanted the money.
Yeah, I want the money.
You guys did ignore my first thing, which is like it reads like it's part of a summary, not like a summary.
Yeah, like there's a big vault of money. Gabriel Scheer wants the money.
Like our favorite guy, Oscar from Hey Arnold. Give me the money. That's what they should have tried. They did all this hacking when in reality they just could have pled with their ex-wife or whatever for it. I don't know.
They were still married in that whole show, Nando.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were going to have a
soon to be ex-wife.
You look back on that show as an adult and you're like, she's got to get out of there.
Oh, red flags everywhere. Yeah. They only dead parents on Hey Arnold.
Also, like, isn't she like whipping plates at him at one point? Like, they're a crazy couple. It's a bad.
Yeah.
Listen, Nando,
he's a weird huckster.
Listen, if we've learned anything from the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, it's that we can't blame women for having imperfect responses to abusive situations.
That's a good point.
The concept of like a tenement building that was like shown in Hey Arnold, like I kind of got at the time, even though not really knowing it. Like today, there's no way anyone's kind of touching that concept, right? Like no one gets like what are they all like in college together and roommates are like what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like
that kind of thing still exists.
I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about real ones or a show? Like they wouldn't make that show, or tenements don't have randos in them anymore?
Yeah, I feel like that is probably close to the case. Therefore, you couldn't make the show because it wouldn't make any sense, right?
I mean,
right? Do you think
this exists?
This is a thing. This totally still exists.
As much as they did in like the 70s and 80s or whatever.
I mean, Hey Arnold was from the mid 90s.
Well, right, but you got to think the people writing it, they're getting the touchstones from like 1 or 2 decades prior.
They were watching like Taxi Driver, and then he was shooting everybody in that hallway, and they were like, I think this would be good if only one of them was a child, and then Kooky Grandpa and Kooky Grandma and Kooky construction worker and Kooky other guys, and then a woman that throws things. Yeah, Kooky Foreigners, Kooky Lounge Singer, I think was part of it.
I think that was just a guy they knew. I don't think he lived there.
I think he used to live there. I think Dino Spumoni used to live in the tenement, and that's why he knew them. But either he no longer did, or he moves in at one point. I kind of remember that one. Yeah, I think we named all the characters.
Yeah,
and probably some sort of mystery guy that we never saw. That would be how I would make that show.
Pigeon
there
Man,
was
probably
there was
right?
a guy
who
never left his room, and they wanted to know who he was. Yeah. I don't know.
Well.
Anyway, that was the summary for Swordfish on IMDb.
Wow.
And Nando, as our beautiful winner, you get to tell us what you thought of Swordfish first.
Well, as we talked about before the show, because it had to be said, why this movie was anywhere on any of our radars in 2001 when it came out. 2001 when it came out. I fully remembered this movie. Like, I saw this movie when I was young. It was like on HBO or something. Back when, like, you know, a movie would show up on HBO and you just watch it. Like, I guess like before you could VOD movies, and then one would show up and you go like, I guess this is what it is. But I've seen this, and I remember seeing hours and hours and hours of bad Jay Leno jokes about how Halle Berry had boobs in the movie, and they paid $50,000 or $250,000 per boob or something.
$500,000.
$500,000 per, or $500,000 together.
Total.
So
yes, exactly. Yeah, $250 per boob, which would suggest, and I do think this would be funny, she could have done one. You know, she could have said, "Give me the $250," and that would have been pretty funny of her. And then like it would have to be like a kind of a what's his name, like the neighbor from Home Improvement, where like, you know, Wilson. There's always something covering one of the boobs, and you're like, this is clearly clever editing. Anyway, that was all I knew about this movie for like 20 years, because I saw it and forgot all the stuff in it because it's all fucking bullshit. So going back to it, I remembered that there was a thing. Like, I remembered all the stuff we're talking about with like, he's not really dead at the end or whatever. And
oh my God.
I knew that happened, and I knew that, yeah, spoilers. And I knew that everyone was lying to him. But besides that, I had no idea what was coming. For that reason, I would say this movie is, it's not unbearable. I had fun with it, but it is horrid. Like, it is just disgusting. It's two things that I think both are bad. Two things that came from this time specifically. One, it has a lot to say about terrorism, which is weird, especially weird considering, like we were saying, it's pre-2001.
Well, it's
like
pre 9/11.
9/11, yeah.
2001.
Came out in 2001. And then second, it has this really horrible, like almost like parody level of Matrix goo on it, and every scene. And it's just the music and the outfits are so weird.
Goo is a good way to describe it.
But the computer visualizations are very accurate and not Matrix-like at all.
Computer stuff is so funny. That's the thing. Whenever stuff like that would happen, I would kind of get into it. It was all that shit where like they would walk through a club, and that part was just hard because, like I said, like it was like full green, blah, like black and green, and then bounce, jump. But I will say, Hugh Jackman's okay in it. Like, I think he's got his usual level of movie star, you know, goodness. Halle Berry's okay in it. I think John Travolta is legitimately bad in it, and it made me question whether he is a good actor at all. And outside of stuff like, you know, like Hairspray, where he's like fun, is he like he was back in the 90s and 2000s when this movie was made? He was like one of the biggest stars on earth, right? Like up there with like Tom Cruise and stuff. Yeah. And like with Tom Cruise, I get it. And with him, I get why he was popular, but I'm like, is he good? And I still don't know. We'll get into some other specifics about this movie. I would say the biggest surprise for me going in was the amount of Don Cheadle this movie would have. Yeah. It's like a mostly Don Cheadle movie.
He's on the poster. Like,
yeah, he deserves to be.
The four of them.
Honestly, they should be Hugh Jackman's head really big, his head slightly less big, and then whatever her name is, Halle Berry's head, and then really small in the corner. What's his name? John Travolta. But yeah, I don't know. This movie is pretty bad. I think it's interesting as a remnant of this part of culture, like I said, because of terrorism and because of the Matrix. But it's just it's kind of gross in a way that's really, really, really strange. So I can't say I'd recommend it to anybody. What about you, DJ? What'd you think of Swordfish?
Man, this movie is so interesting. So I feel like as I'm watching this movie, I was very confused because, like,
why?
Yeah, well, it could be confusing.
Yeah, what was confusing about it? Just because, like, I couldn't understand, not like what was going on. Like, there's loose enough plot going on, but I'm like, what's the point? What are we doing here? And then, like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes in, and you're like, Oh, I get it. This is like a Spike TV movie. Like this movie was made like by like I understand like it just didn't actually happen this way, but it was made by Spike TV for Spike TV. Like this is a Spike TV movie. That has to be what this is because it's the only way I can like wrap my head around it. And I gotta say, like, not that it's bad because it's not technically like a bad movie. It's just like kind of unpleasant to watch. Like in 2025, this 2001 movie is real cringe with a lot of things. I mean, women just getting naked just cause, take it or leave it, I guess, as to what your preference is, and how you feel about that.
Well, DJ, they're getting naked for $500,000.
Well, they're getting naked for
$500,000. The rest of them, I don't know.
Yeah. All the random extras with one line, and then there was a lot of that. They're getting naked
for their union card because they have a line.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's weird because I didn't think this movie was actively bad, but it's not good. It's there's nothing here that you're like, oh yeah, they did like a good job with that. I guess like some of the acting, like Hugh Jackman, to Daniel's point, is good. I actually like Don Cheadle a bunch too, but man, like I think that this technically fits like the tight 90 framing, which I guess is good, but like it's on a slog, but it is very confusing at the end. Like you watch the movie and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Because it has this weird twist reveal that it does not fully explain, which like I understand you don't have to fully spoon feed your audience, but they go to nearly no lengths to try and give you a little bit like, see what we did there. Like,
I mean, yeah, they explain it by showing you the scene where he sneaks away. And they're like, yeah, I got one over on him.
Yeah, I don't think the problem is they don't explain it. I think the problem is after the explanation, you think about it and you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and also, like, who cares? I don't like them. But I guess some people would like them.
So
some people who would go on to be the American president at the time this movie was released.
I would believe it.
Anyway, all of this to say was, for me, this movie's not a great time, but I could see how you would like it if I think any heterosexual or like any teenager whose preference is like seeing like, I want to see some naked women and like explodey loose plot. So like me at 15, this is like their favorite movie of all time. But me now at 34, nah.
That makes sense. This does feel like a movie that a 15-year-old would think is good.
Right?
And they'd go like, no, you see, it had like stuff going on. You know, like you'd be caught watching it in the living room and your parent would be like, what are you watching? It's about like terrorism and like hacking, I think, or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
They're
like,
having a really complicated conversation about like world politics.
Yeah. It's like when you think about it, sometimes killing people is good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good to murder.
And, that was maybe enough to justify it being made at the time. I don't know.
The early 2000s, that was all over.
It really
was. This movie was ahead of its time on that discourse.
It really is crazy that it came out first. Like, just that part is wild.
So yeah, didn't like it, but Diggins, dear Diggins, what did you think of this feast of cinema?
Well, DJ's out of his mind. This movie is bad. This movie's really bad. It's nonsensical, and just is that sort of movie where like where they wrote it with all these like twists to be like, oh, we're gonna keep people guessing and they're never gonna know what's happening. But like the twists only work because everything in the movie happens the way it does. It's the thing I talked about like with what's his name in Fast X.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
what was his name in that? Jason Momoa?
Yeah. Jason
are you talking about him or
character.
the other guy? Yeah.
I'm talking about Jason Momoa's character, where it's like the only way things could like the things he's doing could work out in his favor is if he's read the script and he knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because they rely so much on people behaving in ways that like you could never predict and often don't make sense. So it's that kind of movie. It's convoluted without actually like having any kind of logical structure underneath it. The acting is some of it's okay, most of it's not that great. And yeah, the Matrix slop all over it, early 2000s glop, and we'll probably talk about it more, as part of the movie. But yeah, weirdly predictive of where American political discourse was going very shortly after its release, and I do not mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So yeah, that's what I thought of the movie.
Yeah. Well, you know what it's time to do?
All right, everyone, we're here. It's a new year, and you know what that means?
Yeah.
We're doing it different now because new
What?
year means
Joey style.
Yeah.
That's right. This is the mostly nitpicking spin-off.
Yeah, we love Joey. I'm gonna watch it at least one episode before the next one of these. I can't wait. The only trouble is, will it be hard to find?
Guys, what if we become a Joey recap pod now?
Wait,
We probably
wait.
watch an episode of Joey every week.
We can probably get some of the guys.
Could we like?
I mean, I found on Daily Motion the first episode of it.
Oh,
and I only went to Daily Motion because I think it's probably going to be pretty tricky to track this down otherwise. Although, I wonder if HBO, with all of its Friends nonsense, is like, by the way, Joey. Or if they're just like, and Joey, just as good as Friends.
I think it's the opposite. I think because they're so ill enough friends, they're trying to bury Joey.
Yeah, it's
bury
the problem.
Joey.
All right, well, I'll put it in.
I want to be a Joey podcast now. Forget Swordfish. Let's just live watch together.
Podcast. It would have to be like, well, I mean, we haven't watched the episode. I'm sure some fun like catchphrase would come out of it besides like how you doing or whatever. But like a Joey show specific one, and then that would be what the name of the podcast is. But yeah, we could probably get like some of the guys. I don't know about Matt LeBlanc, but I feel like we'd probably get like Adam whatever or some of these other people I'm seeing on the IMDb page right now.
So
anyway, we'll update you guys on the progress of our Joey spin-off pod. Until then,
quick,
DJ.
Real quick before we get off that, because I know we're trying to save time, but this is very important. On our How You Doing is the Joey spin-off series on any streaming services. I just finished Friends on HBO Max, but I can't find the Joey series on there. Is it on any streaming service? Top comment. I don't think so. You'd probably have to get the DVDs or pirate it. Now to answer a question you didn't ask, Episodes with Matt LeBlanc is on Paramount Plus, and it's excellent.
Oh yeah, Episodes is good. No, that's not anything like this.
That's one of the two shows a Friends star did about how they're like washed up now and they're trying to make a comeback, but everyone's like, you're the Friends person though.
Yeah. Well, and I like the other one more, obviously, because the other one's like one of the funniest shows ever made. But Episodes is good.
Okay, well, I just like the person's like, you probably have to get the DVDs. Like, hey, man, you really want to watch Joey? Get the DVDs.
Nah, Daily Motion, baby. It's out there. Someone uploaded all the episodes. I don't want to promote them, but you can find them pretty easily.
All right,
Lost media.
Back to our regularly scheduled program. So last week, we had a guest appearance from The Wheel. Somehow made it back to America.
The Wheel. Yeah.
We got visited by the FBI afterwards, asking us questions about its whereabouts.
I was going to say, he threw you into a wall, the FBI guy. And then he threw DJ into a wall. And then he threw me into a wall.
Hit my lawyer with a door.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. But actually, you know what? Maybe a national hero when you really get down to it.
Yeah.
Or a bad guy. I can't really determine where the movie comes down on Don Cheadle. But
so we have been in contact with The Wheel, and we are aware of the Discord's wishes regarding The Wheel. And I am here to report that at this time, we will not be accepting The Wheel back onto the podcast.
Dead to us. Absolutely.
Instead, each week, we will be trying out a different shape or device to help us with the summary. It's not a wheel. These aren't wheel slices, but it's just going to be a different mechanism. So today we have the ancient disc. And
it's ancient.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think this disc has to be ancient. I don't know if they're well, I know they're modern, like compact discs, but even actually, that's an ancient disc at this point. It's an ancient compact disc.
That is an ancient disc.
Not using those.
Probably couldn't even get the theme song from Joey on like one of those. Let's see who wrote it. Joey theme song.
The podcast is now mostly nitpicking, but this time it's Joey. I think.
So. Yeah, it's hard to find who wrote this. I don't know why. Sunny Hours? Oh, yeah, no, Long Beach Dub All-Stars featuring Will.i.am. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, that's definitely on an ancient disc somewhere.
So we will be, during the summary that I will be giving, the loser still gives a summary, but in order to, give some structure that the wheel may have helped with, each week we will get an audition from a different device. This week, the ancient disc, and the co-hosts who are not giving the summary will say, I don't know, like, it's time. I have a disc chunk. I think, what's this week? It's a gyration. The disc gyrates. Is that what this
I guess
thing does?
so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably listening to Long Beach Dub All-Stars.
Yeah.
Awful. Just like, not awful. I'm listening to it now. It's fine. But me and Diggins talked about this when we were off air. The Joey theme song is just like Entourage. And this song is such an Entourage-ish song that it's astounding that they tried this.
Well, Nando, I do think everything is going to be all right.
Yeah, it's sunny even. I'm listening to it right now, so that's just me vibing.
And I'll explain while you listen. And maybe I'll throw on some Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
but yeah. So me or one of the hosts will say I have a disc gyration, and it'll be a gyration much probably like Hugh Jackman's in this movie, while he's doing some hacking, drinking some wine, listening to like 5,000 electric watt something. Do you guys remember that song? It's like 5,000 electric.
Yeah, whatever that. No, but I know what you're talking about.
Not as good as Joey
exactly
song,
what you're talking
obviously.
No, not as good.
But that will be the structure, and this will hopefully make sense, and then I won't lose track along the way. And we're trying it out. We're new year, new format. We're trying stuff out, guys. So bear with us while we try this out.
Much like NBC tried things out by having a Joey spinoff after Friends ended. We're trying out this new wheel replacement.
There's 48 episodes, so like it could be a lot. There's a lot of meat on those bones.
We could do that for a whole year.
Yeah. No movies, no fucking Captain America, no Superman, just Joey.
How many people would we lose?
Most of them. Yeah. Probably be a couple who are like kind of into the Joey stuff, like the Joey lore and whatever, but
this feels like a worst idea of all time tier sort of podcast concept.
Also, so it's not just you got to be all right. It's you want to be all right. You got to walk tall. So that's what the Joey theme is telling us. All so you got to like use your, believe it into happening. Right.
You got to manifest it.
Exactly.
All right. So Swordfish summary. Let's go. New format, new year. No Joey, but no, sometimes it is Joey.
Maybe some that's Joey. Our new thing. There'll be a little bit of crossover in this. Yeah.
All right. So the movie Swordfish opens as any great movie should, with John Travolta talking about movies.
About other movies. Oh, Quentin Tarantino, what have you done? You fucked it all up. I remember watching this and being so upset. I've actually never. Have either of you guys seen Dog Day Afternoon?
No.
I haven't. I should.
Me neither. I don't want to after this. I think I don't like it as much. I like this better. That's what the movie tells me. It's true.
That's right. The movie would have been better. They just murdered everybody.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what a great movie was? The Godfather. It's whatever. John Travolta's like just going off about movies and stuff. And this is all as a lead up to reveal that, hey, he's in the middle of a crazy ass like heist, more or less. Got a bunch of hostages, dropped the bombs. FBI's here, cops are here. It's all going down. And look, we got a hostage situation, and it's bad. It's a bad hostage situation. And guys, you'll never guess, but the hostage situation goes really, really poorly. Essentially, they run. So the plan is, as we see it, is that John Travolta is going to put all the hostages on a bus, and they're going to go away in what more or less seems like a bank heist.
Yeah,
this is part of the little switcheroo of what's going on, but we'll get to that later. Unfortunately, I guess the cops are like, just shoot him, I guess. Like, we can't let him get away.
In a realistic depiction, the LAPD does not care about civilian life at all.
Yeah, it's complicated, though, because, like, I was confused about this. he tells him that they're bombs, that the people have bombs on them.
Yes, correct.
Why do they not believe him? And that's why they're like, it's gonna be fine if we get this one.
I mean, to be fair, Don Cheadle, who is supposed to be running the show, is like, don't fucking start shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, the sniper, I don't know if the sniper goes rogue, but the sniper does take out one of John Travolta's guys, and which leads one of the SWAT team guys to take a woman who is screaming like, no, this is so bad. And the SWAT guys get the woman to the middle of like the scene in the middle of the road, and John Travolta blows up the bomb, and it's crazy because like the explosion looks
Travolta
fake.
doesn't blow the bomb. The bomb is rigged that if they leave the bank, it explodes.
Oh, right. Sorry. Right. Yeah,
so that's why they're like, don't take her out. Don't take her out.
So she blows up, and then it's weird. The explosion does this thing where it looks super fake, right? Like,
it's awful.
Incredibly, well, it's like, wow, that's what was a computer-generated explosion poorly. But, like, the effects of it are, like, weirdly realistic, because I feel like a lot of times, like, movies, like, underestimate, like, what an explosion does, and how, like, a guy, like, 5 feet from an explosion can just, like, walk away fine. But it's like, no, man, like, it's an explosion, and, like, people, like, far from the blast radius are effective, and cars are flying everywhere, and it's like, oh wow, this is like, there's a lot going on, and there were consequences from this.
They really did their research in this one bit.
Yeah, they nailed this part.
While there is a fair amount of it that is computer generated, it's actually at least somewhat practical, and they had like a ton of composite shots and like a ton of cameras on it to like put it all together. It was actually like a really expensive, like one of the most complicated like visual effects of its time.
Yeah,
and you're right. It's not worth it. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. No. And by the end of the movie, you forgot about it because it's too early.
Yeah, because guess what? It's a flash forward. My least favorite device.
Guys, that happened like 3/4 of the movie. Let's go back now to the actual movie.
And let me tell you, they don't make it very clear that it's a flash forward. Even having seen this movie before, for a minute I was like, wait, so what happened to him after that? What?
So now we get our, oh hey, it was 4 days earlier, and we're in LAX, and there's a guy who we've yet to see is getting his bags and going through customs. And what's his deal? Well, we find out that this guy is a hacker, and he gets I know, right? And he gets detained by like customs, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they call in like Don Cheadle, who's with the FBI, because it's a super good hacker. Now, I didn't write this down as a disc gyration, but I'm going to go for it. So this is the first disc gyration. Wow, wow, wow.
Ooh,
the disc
that
has
is the sound it makes.
Ooh, the disc is really sci-fi.
This guy knows that once he steps foot on U.S. soil, he will be detained.
I don't know. Does he?
He must, or he's a big old idiot.
Yeah.
Because I thought, what I thought was, him being detained is part of the plan. But it's not even kind of part of the plan. My question to you guys is, what the fuck is he doing?
I think we see the customs person comparing his passport to another one at one point. I think he used a fake passport, but they figured out that it was him.
Okay.
Wait, but I'm pretty sure what he does in that scene is he goes to customs and they're like, you got anything exciting in here? And he's like, nope. And then they open his like luggage and another passport falls out or something. And then they look at them both and go, these aren't the same.
It's
this
like
guy's
big
something.
old laptops and
right.
Yeah, and it's like, that's what a guy who's supposed to get caught is doing. Like, there's no good reason for this.
Yeah, so I guess the answer is he did have a plan, but also he is stupid.
Yeah, I think that's right. Well, and he's stupid later, too, in this scene. So it's like, because also, doesn't he like try to run away?
Yeah. He tries to run away, and then the cops just like get him, right? He gets caught so good. This guy gets caught so good.
This guy should watch the fucking movie I watched a couple of days ago. What was it called? Plane Man? The fuck's it called? Taron Egerton is the Mr. Planes. Carry On. Yeah, you should watch Carry On. There's a lot of ways to sneak away from people in an airport.
Confuse it with Plane starring Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, listen, it's pretty good. I like Carry On. But yeah, an airport is a maze. basically. Except for when, people are shooting at you, then it's not. Well, you guys should watch that movie. It's kind of fun. But anyway, so this guy gets caught.
So he gets detained. All right, so put a pin in that for now. Next, we go to an old trailer in Texas to see, Hugh Jackman. You know who? Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman.
I love Hugh Jackman.
And he's here, and he's hitting golf balls, and he's down on his luck, guys. He can't see his daughter. He's divorced. He was serving time at Fort Leavenworth. I think that was
for
part
hacker
of it.
crimes.
For hacker crimes,
yeah.
But you only go to Leavenworth if you were in the military. Was he in the military?
I guess so.
They don't send people to Leavenworth. That's not a thing.
Not usually.
TJ, you found the one factual inconsistency in the movie. Good job.
If you're
whatever. The
you're
disc,
a Swordfish level
guys,
hacker.
the disc, it's shaking. My whole table's shaking.
Oh
with
my
the
God.
Disc. It's you
You've
idiot.
angered it. Yeah.
There's one more. Fort Leavenworth. No. All right, calm down.
This is like one of the. I feel like Hugh Jackman has a type of introduction, and it's this a lot. He's a really down to earth guy, who's just fucking doing shit, and he doesn't want to do the cool thing. But
we love watching him in a home that's also a vehicle.
Yeah,
possibly with his shirt off, being kind of a scumbag.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this was the same that Chris Pratt's in Jurassic World, like that too. Not
Chris
as
Pratt wishes.
but I know, right?
Yeah,
but that's what they're for.
I mean, I don't think they were going for Chris Pratt as a scumbag in that Jurassic World movie, but he definitely comes off like it.
Yeah,
you don't say. So who to our wandering eye appear, but then Halle Berry, who comes to recruit Hugh Jackman to do a hacking job, and it's gonna pay. And she knows he's down on his luck, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know about this," and he shoves her out of his trailer, just pushes her out, go away.
Well, I feel like that is brought in by a line, but I can't remember what it is. But is it is your daughter going to do porn like her mom or something? Yeah. And then he throws her out of the thing
I think the first one is just have you checked in with
Holly
Holly lately?
Yeah,
something that's clearly a veiled threat against his daughter, which, in his defense, is a reasonable thing to get really upset with someone about.
Mm-hmm.
To shove them out your trailer, though, is an escalation, right?
I mean, if somebody made a veiled threat against your son, you wouldn't get really mad at them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was Halle Berry, I'd be a little confused. I feel like part of me is if a big mafia guy comes over and he's like, "I want to kill you and kill your son," you'd be like, "I gotta fight this guy," because he's mafia or whatever. But if it was Halle Berry, you'd be like, "This is part of something or some shit."
Well,
and
and especially after he was ogling her, he was doing his golf shtick or whatever, and he's just "Oh, it's ogle." So then we get a scene that I feel was supposed to be before this scene, but it's put in the middle of these two scenes, I guess, to make them make sense. I don't love the structure of this, but Hugh Jackman calls his ex-wife, baby mama, to I don't know, I was "Hey, I want to talk to my daughter," and she's like, "You can't."
Who
fuck
is
you.
Star of Joey, Drea DiMatteo.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Drea DiMatteo, very good.
And I think there's the disc. I think might be gyrating.
Oh, please,
no, is that
please,
right?
Diggins, to you.
Yeah, I think I hear it going wow, 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 wow. And it looks like it says, the real villain, porn.
Yeah, porn is bad.
Yeah, let's talk about porn. So in this movie, Hugh Jackman's ex-wife's new husband, are they married or is it just boyfriend?
It sounds like it.
Directs smut films, and the ex-wife or wife of the director stars in them.
Sometimes.
That's right.
Sometimes.
And she's also a drug addict.
Yeah.
Because she does porn, which is a bit,
right. She's made to be a piece of shit because
of course.
She is, I think.
And she doesn't love Hugh Jackman enough.
The only character in the movie, including John Travolta, who we will describe what he gets up to later, who I think the movie treats should not get any sympathy whatsoever.
Yeah,
because she does porn.
Yeah, I would say there's one thing that I think is so funny later, but yeah, she gets a really interesting intro. And I think without the porn, you'd be like, that's a little bit mean. But with the porn, it's no, she's a bad person and deserves whatever's coming.
But it's just so funny to me how the movie's like, how can we communicate to everyone that she's an awful person and a bad mom and shouldn't be anywhere near the daughter? She does porn.
Mm-hmm.
How evil.
Yeah, I mean, I do think when you look at the actual end of the movie and like how it ends, it's like a happy ending, but obviously not. You know, she's dead. But like, who gives a shit about her, right? Let's all go hang out on the beach or whatever. It's crazy.
Summary is full spoiler. Yeah. During the end of the movie, he like goes to the house and he finds her and her husband like killed. They've been murdered by John Travolta's guys. And then just immediately is like, all right, Holly, just like doesn't care at all. Immediately goes looking for his daughter. And his daughter, I mean, clearly we don't see everything about her life from that point forward. She at no point is like, where's mom? Like, what's going on? I was sad about mom. It's just like, yay, dad's here.
The movie ends with her being like, don't worry, dad, it'll be okay. It's like, yo, it was your mom. Like, it was his ex-wife. Like, I think he's fine with this, right? Like, it was your mom, right?
Well, she goes up to him and she's like, it's okay, daddy. She did porn, so she didn't have a soul.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
she's in hell now, daddy.
I'm pretty sure the line specifically is, I'm all right, y'all. All right, y'all. You want to be all right? You gotta walk tall. And then Hugh Jackman and her walk tall out into the sunset. And the mom watches from heaven or whatever with Joey in L.A., baby. Which I think is where both of these take place.
Jesus Christ.
What was I gonna say? Oh no, I will say because I did write this down. The bit where the mom dies, I do think this is part of why I'm like Hugh Jackman's almost kind of good in this. He gives a look for a second before he starts looking for the daughter. It's like, aw, fuck. Like, this is going to ruin everything. Like, my kid's going to need so much therapy. Fuck. And I'm like, yeah, oh, no,
she was a bitch, but I didn't want this. God damn it.
He's a really weird guy because he is so noble and stuff because he loves his daughter so much, but he does not. This movie knows that like a character like this exists sometimes. Yeah. The deadbeat dad, and then the mom who yells at him on the phone and is like, "You gotta come, to the kid's piano recital, Jim Carrey." And then he's like, "I can't, I got work." But instead, it's like, yeah, they just tried to fully warp those two characters, and it doesn't really work. But they also make her drunk, and then she misses picking up little girl. So it's like, what a horrible person. Sucks. Yeah.
So what this conversation basically leads to, as Nando alluded to, is she tells Hugh Jackman to get his shit together. This then leads him to be like, oh, no, okay, I'll take the job. Halle Berry throws him a big satchel of money, makes a reference that, hey, hope your daughter doesn't wind up as a fluffer in one of the videos.
That's
crazy thing to say. Cannot believe she says that. And then off they go.
Yeah.
Well, again, DJ, the most evil thing a person can do is porn, so...
Just suggesting a child would like be a fluffer, like fucking.
Well, but porn gross. People are so evil that they would do that.
They would do that. Yeah. Probably to spite him, too. Yeah. They would be like, you're not going to be good at this job, but this will really make your dad really upset.
You know what?
Let's do it because I have an axe to grind.
I would really sincerely hope that the person being fluffed, like the child, would be doing a bad job for them.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I do think you would, as the person that is in the porn, be like, there's got to be some reason this is happening, right? I feel like we're, do you guys want to talk to someone? Yeah. Like, this is bad. But also, real quick about the porn, I do like the way Joey DeMatteo explains it as like, he's a businessman who makes videos. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That is what he is. And, but too bad she's not good enough for the movie. So she is throat slit or whatever. She does die later. Oh, man. And so does husband, whatever his name is. But, yeah.
All right. So next we're back to we're in some kind of detainment cell where our Finnish hacker is being interrogated with his lawyer present. I think it's his lawyer, handler, some shit.
It is his lawyer.
It is a lawyer, yeah, who's also acting as a translator.
Yeah. So the LAPD are doing the good cop, bad cop routine, and then Don Cheadle comes in and the cop's like, oh, you're fucked now. Don Cheadle in just a scene out of fucking Batman Begins.
Yeah, a scene out of a movie that happened after 9/11.
Yeah, right.
Or happens in the LAPD every day.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, and remember, Don Cheadle's with the FBI, right? But yeah, he proceeds to, maybe could be a preview of things to come, picks up the dude's lawyer, throws him against the wall, threatens him, throws him out of the detainment room, shuts the door, and then like pulls out a gun and then begins to threaten the hacker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like insane shit.
Very legal and very cool.
Yeah, I even think he like spills his soup on him or some shit too.
Yeah,
like part of his thing. It's just a horrible day for that guy.
Yeah. So there's like this, like the sequencing's weird here where we get a little bit of like John Travolta smash cut. It's like, oh, he's at his club, he's so cool, and like Hugh Jackman kind of rolling up, oh, he's gonna meet him. But essentially what comes of this, to make a long summary short, is that the hacker is and his lawyer, so Don Cheadle leaves because the hacker's like, all right, I'll tell you some shit. And then so now it's the lawyer and the hacker are in the room, and then they are shot from the other side of the two-way glass by
Don Cheadle. Excuse me, I was saying Don Cheadle leaves
yeah.
because he gets a call from the DA.
Oh, that's
and then
right,
he picks up the phone and it's broken, and then he calls the DA and he's like, "You called me?" And he's like, "No, I didn't." And then he runs in, and then everybody's dead.
Yeah,
they tricked him.
Yeah, those bastards. And you're like, man, the LAPD was probably like at the end of this day, like, fuck, today sucked. It's got to be better, though. Everybody just chill out. This week is only going to get better. And then just the craziest shit happens at the end of this movie. And they're like, man, if I could go back to that day they were shooting witnesses. Those were the days.
I will say, watching this back now, it's wild. For some reason, the hacker decides, the disc is vibrating again. Calm down, disc. We're not going to bring you back next week. Hey, why at any point would you decide to stand like 2 inches from the two-way glass? Like, I understand that you're not expecting to be shot behind it, but these assassins must be like, oh my god, lucky day. Where it's like the guy puts his forehead to the glass, and just like pop, just like shoots him right in the head, and then they just get the lawyer, a couple chest shots. But like, man, I don't know. I'm not saying to duck and cover, but why, like, walking up right up to it? Maybe you want to see the other side. I don't know. Just the disc wanted to give some input on that one.
I think he was doing one of those classic taunts that criminals love, where he's like, I'm going to go up to the window and pick my teeth, so you got to look at me doing this gross thing, you dumb cops.
And then he got shot in the head. So did he get what he deserved? Much like the porn lady. Do
you think in that moment right before he got shot, like as the bullet was coming to him, he was like, oh, this is Don Cheadle, probably, right? The cop that just threatened to shoot me a minute ago, who just left the room? Fuck. He didn't even know he was part of a whole bunch of other stuff. But was that guy supposed to be the hacker?
Yeah,
who
I think
Hugh Jackman is replacing. It's insane that this guy goes through all this fucking trouble with Hugh Jackman, and he just doesn't tell this guy not to bring 2 passports. It doesn't make any sense. This thing only works as he needs to be caught for some reason, but it's so stupid.
It doesn't matter for the movie either, right? It's like it's so doesn't matter. Like
it kind of gets what's his name into it, like it gets Don Cheadle sniffing around, right. But that's basically it.
Don Cheadle doesn't really do anything though, does he?
Runs around, falls down that hill for 20 minutes.
People. Oh my god!
Scene.
So, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we will. It's pretty close.
All right. So next up, maybe my favorite scene in the movie because it's so fucking bananas. All right.
Certainly one of the most famous.
Definitely.
Gonna get to the importance of the scene. Halle Berry introduces Hugh Jackman to John Travolta. John Travolta's like, oh, hey, you're the amazing hacker I've heard about. I would like to put you to the test.
Oh, wait. What's that? Is the disc gyrating? It's gyrating. Wow.
All right, Nando.
I'm reading something here. It says, Dan Hackeroid? There is I could not believe Hugh Jackman's faces that he makes during this scene. They are so upsetting. And like...
Okay.
Wait, Nando, why would you make a reference to the 1995 movie Sneakers right now?
Oh no! As you see, I'm actually making reference to another movie called Ghostbusters, because it has what was up until now the worst depiction of a guy making a face that is like, wow, someone's sucking on his penis, but this is worse. And I think it's because at least the Dan Aykroyd one is kind of fun. This one is just like, and Hugh Jackman, he's a good actor. I can't blame him. You know, he's bringing his A game. He probably rehearsed and shit at home in front of a mirror, like, and and it's just so upsetting.
Well, to both give him an excuse and explain to the audience who hasn't watched the movie exactly what happened.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think the best actor in the world could be told, all right, now I need you to act like you're simultaneously getting a blowjob, having a gun held to your... Getting an unwilling blowjob, by the way. This is assault.
Yeah, and it's...
Having a gun held to your head, and you have to do a cool hacker man job.
One that would take 60 minutes in 60 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think even the world's most amazing actor could really summon up that cocktail of emotions.
Cocktail.
Well, that's what I think is happening, right? This is like every couple of seconds he has to switch from emotion to emotion, like gun, blowjob, oh boy, and it's like it just keeps cycling through them, and it's like I feel like by this point just be in the blowjob section of this, like, or just the hacking. He's got to be able to shut one of them out. I don't know what's going on. Or like me, you forget the gun was there because it's not that important in, you know, the whole scheme of it.
I'm rewatching this, Nando. So yeah, Diggins basically explained it, but John Travolta's test for Hugh Jackman is I'm gonna put a gun to your head, I'm gonna have a girl suck your dick. She like pours out, like she makes out with him like while like drinking alcohol earlier, so I don't know if it's supposed to be implied that he's got like got a little buzz, but he also
takes a shot of tequila,
right? And takes a shot of tequila. So you're gonna be buzzed, I got a gun to your head, and you're gonna get a blowjob, do a cool hack in 60 seconds. And like it was funny because I was watching this with Michelle and she was like, why is he getting the blowjob? Right? Like
great question.
It doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense. Like it's like it's not fun, right? Like, I mean, sure. I'm sure a lot of people would love to, you know, have oral sex done to them under certain situations, but
I'm
this
sure.
is not.
Can you wow, that's a claim, DJ. You're saying certain people under certain situations would like to have oral sex done to them. I don't know.
Well, we know DJ hates kissing, so
yeah, that's true.
You know, that's
and
just,
I mean,
mouth to mouth, right?
That's true. And I feel like the hacking situation, even that would be like, I feel like in this situation, if you're Hugh Jackman, you'd be like, can I just do it? Like, can I just do the hacking? This is only going to make it worse. Like, do you want me to fail?
Put the gun to my head.
Like,
fine. I get
it.
But like, not the
hacking,
blowjob, please.
Hacking is not traditionally an incredibly time-sensitive activity. You do it all beforehand.
Not anymore, but it used to be. It used to be a really high intense, like something. I don't even know what you would like playing Counter-Strike or something like that. Just clickety clacking. And I will say, like, the other thing about let's say about this scene that I think is so crazy is like later in the movie he will get threatened, not like the same way, but like they'll threaten him to kill Jinx or whatever. And if I'm him and that happened and then I did the hack, I'd be like, so that blowjob thing was not part of this. Like, you weren't like prepping me for this to happen later. This was just, you thought that'd be fun in the moment. But also, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like the worst, but it's pretty funny.
It is certainly the most memorable scene.
Go back and watch the faces. It's.
I'm sure you can find this on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Oh, and can we describe, by the way? I don't think this has come up yet. The Hugh Jackman looks like Hugh Jackman in this movie. Halle Berry looks like Halle Berry did at this time, which was like this kind of short-haired look that I feel like is what she also had for the James Bond movie she was in around now.
Absolutely.
John Travolta has the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible hair for some reason, mixed with this incredibly thin, but also like incredibly like straight like line of chin hair. I don't even know what you would call this because it doesn't coalesce into a beard at all. It's just like a little exclamation point at the bottom of his face. Is it a chin strap though? Because I think a chin strap would have to have this. That's the strap. It's just the bottom part. Like it just connects the bottom of his lip to his chin. See, a soul patch I would say is wider than this. This is I've never seen this before.
No,
and
this is like a weird ass choice. Like
it's hideous. And
it's also like I don't know if it's his hair or what. I'm pretty sure it's like actual hair on his face, but it looks like somebody painted it on him.
It does. Yeah, no, it looks very like he can't, even though they've decided his character has a little line on his face, it doesn't seem like he could fully grow all that hair out. So there's like a little bit where it's kind of like, you're like, that's not, you shouldn't have done any of this. But I don't know, did they think this would be cool? You know?
I mean, it was 2001. That, you know, we made a lot of bad fashion decisions back then.
Yeah. That's fair. I do think like, this is the thing about Hugh Jackman, though. I think everything he's wearing, it's a little 2001, but I think you could wear it today. Whereas everybody else in this movie is dressed like the most 2001 person. But he just got t-shirts and a leather jacket, man. That guy is timeless. No wonder he's like the man that never ages in the X-Men cartoon or show.
I think the hairstyling and the earrings are a little much.
The earrings a little much. Yeah, I agree. That's to show that he's like a little funky. You know, he's got a little bit more. He doesn't play by everybody's rules.
He's a cool hacker man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this next chunk of the movie is something I would describe as we're just moving along here. So couple highlights. Halle Berry. So after he does his cool hack, he's like, all right, I'm out of here. That was fucking weird. So Halle Berry's answer is to basically corner him in a room, make out with him for a long time. That make out seems like a whole minute. And then she's like, you don't got a choice. You want to see your daughter. You got nowhere to go. This is your only shot, is to do this hacking job. And essentially he gets to, okay, I will do a hacking job, because, you know, it seems like he has a thing for Halle Berry, and this seems like his only option. Meanwhile, the cops are onto the trail of Hugh Jackman and John Travolta. So they're just progressing the cop plot forward.
Well, right, because I don't think this has come up before. Don Cheadle arrested Hugh Jackman before. Like, he has
previously.
Like, previous relationship with him. The other thing that I don't think we mentioned, specifically, Hugh Jackman wants the money so that he could sue his wife into oblivion. Because that's what he's planning on doing. I feel like the way that we've set it up, the way that we've been talking about it so far, is like, if he shows up, it's his wife that he did a good hacking, she'll be like, all right, you get to see your daughter again, and like everything's gonna be cool. Like in, like, you know, the fucking movie like Jingle All the Way, where Arnold Schwarzenegger needs to get the doll. But in this, like, he is going to use this money to destroy them, and you know, because they're so rich and everything from all the porn, they have the best lawyers. So even 100 grand won't do it, apparently. I think that's a lot. He could do okay with that.
Yeah, I think so.
But also, it's illegal to touch a computer if you're him. That's the other thing that we learn. You can't even lay a finger on a computer.
That's why he's playing golf on a trailer.
Because he can't play golf on the computer.
Yeah.
Can't play golf on a computer. All right, I'm trying to remember like what the next big like scene thing is. Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman goes to visit his daughter. A thing I don't think he's supposed to or allowed to do.
Not even a little.
Explicitly point out that it is very illegal for him to do this.
Yeah. But I guess we had to get a scene with this because
we got to see that he's a good dad, unlike
he's a good
evil
dad.
porn lady.
Right.
Well, an evil porn lady forgot to to pick up the daughter from school or whatever. Right. So yeah. Which he anticipated, I guess, or something.
Yeah,
I don't know how
maybe,
he knows
that part is not made clear. This part just make the whole section is like Hugh Jackman good, mom bad. The section that follows this though is a fun old chase scene where the cops go up to Hugh Jackman. And it's like, hey, we're the cops, and he's like, no, and he just like starts running from the cops. So there's a big old chase scene.
In LA, they let you do that.
See
if you can outrun them. Make it fun for everybody.
It's actually a law. Like, if you can lose the cops, then anything they were going to arrest you for, wipe from the record.
Yeah. Did you guys know that this is? Well, okay, go on, DJ. Yeah, describe the chase scene because.
So really all it is so there's a chase scene. They roll down a hill hilariously long. I think Hot Rod
roll down a mountain.
Yeah.
Like they fall so long that at the end the alien from Mac and Me shows up and goes, oh, and you're like, oh man, guess he's dead now. There's like a bit where they're on a tarp, and then
Yes,
that's not the end of it.
now.
It
Yeah.
just keeps going. There's a point where they like stand up and then they keep falling again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This is where Hot Rod got the scene from, right? Like, this is definitely where Hot Rod got it from.
I've never seen anything like this, and I do think it's crazy. I get Don Cheadle as like a weirdo, so like, you know, he's kind of obsessed with Hugh Jackman a little bit. The partner is like, don't fucking go. Also, you need to be around for when both of them die to ID their bodies. Like,
in amazing timing, this scene ends with Hugh Jackman getting like stopped by the car of the like undercover agents, the FBI agents, and it's like, I think Hugh Jackman would be like in the hospital for weeks with internal bleeding. Like, you go from rolling down that hill to like going into a car. Like, a car is not a soft landing spot.
well, his jacket ripped, so
oh yeah, that's true.
that like took the brunt of the impact.
Yeah,
So
his armored leather jacket.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is something that I think if it happened in an X-Men movie, I'd be like, I think Wolverine's going to need a little more time.
Yeah,
to heal
right.
from that. I don't buy it.
He took some blows there. Basically,
Steve Jobs man or whatever. He's fine.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's like, well, I'm not going to arrest you, but hey, watch out, buddy. It's like,
After listing all the things he could arrest him for, he's like, but I'm not gonna. Bye.
nah, you're fine.
And if he had arrested him at that point, everybody's fine, right? Like, none of the stuff at the end of the movie happens because they don't have a hacker who can do it.
Yeah.
So,
or if he had even said, which I think is his plan, but he does not say, like, hey, I know you're working with a really bad guy. Give us some info on him and maybe we can cut a deal. But he doesn't say that. He just gives him his card and leaves.
Yeah. He got all discombobulated from falling down a hill.
Yeah, he thought he said that, but then later as he was driving back, he turned to Vinnie Jones and was like, did I offer him the deal? And he's like, no. Fuck!
Yeah.
Nando, did you have something on this scene? Was there any disc gyrations or
anything? Well, I did want to, because we did skip one thing that I think, it wasn't a disc gyration necessarily, but do you guys remember what Hugh Jackman, because this is set up before this, what he's going to hack on? The hacking setup that he gets shown to by John Travolta, that he cannot even believe his eyes.
I remember
7 whole monitors.
7 screens, all with one ball going around. Incredible. And they're all like fucking a foot apart from each other, floating in space. It is so funny. I think everybody should look at this, because as bad as the blowjob scene is, that's just like hacking. This is like what they thought was cool. This is like fucking an incredible amount of screens, and yeah, it looks really bad.
So Hugh Jackman leaves. He goes back to the Operation Swordfish
Airbnb where he lives or something. Yeah, I don't know where they are.
He walks into a room where Halle Berry is undressing. He doesn't knock. The door's not locked, but like, I don't know, maybe knock, and then sees Halle Berry undressing. But that's not the most important part. He discovers that while she is in her undergarments, she is wearing a wire.
Yeah.
Egad. To which she pulls out a gun at him, and he's like, I don't care. And he's like, tell me what the fuck's going on. And she tells him that she is a DEA agent going after Gabriel Shear.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
I mean, I can't, and the movie doesn't want me to, but also it's pretty stupid. This is like maybe one of the first things I actually saw that had a character actually wearing a wire. You would never be able to hide that, considering what she wears in this movie. Oh, no. Right? Like, it's so big, and she's wearing dresses that are so tight. Like, I get like a big mafia guy in a huge trench coat, whatever, but like, where was that? Where does Hugh Jackman think that was?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
All right. So next, we have a very important scene. This is a very important scene. So John Travolta and Gabriel Shear and Stanley go to a coffee shop where Gabriel finally explains Operation Swordfish. Now, I don't know if this is real. The disc is going crazy. The disc is like bouncing off.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a beat on Operation Swordfish. Okay. So apparently in the 80s, the government had a program where they like set up fake real drug cartels.
No, they set up like fake shell companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
To like, use as fronts for when they did like busts and stuff. So basically,
Okay,
they were just like, they were supposed to look like fronts, but they were really just shell companies set up by the government.
I see. And these shell companies have money in them. They found a way to make money.
Apparently, they just operated them like real businesses and they made money.
Well,
Not a thing I think the government can do, but okay.
I'm guessing what he's kind of explaining is they just put money in the shell accounts so that if you check somehow there would be money in them, and then just forgot that anything was in there after a certain amount of time.
No, he does say they made money.
Right, but now here's the thing. It's like, okay, so at the time, whatever, like he's like they made like $400,000, but that
400
money,
million.
$400 million, and that money has gone untouched and over time gained interest to now being worth a value of like $9 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So
over 15 years.
So my question is, did the government forget? How did he find out? Like, how is there just $9 billion sitting somewhere?
I want to know where they found this 24% interest account they could just put
That's
some money
the part
in.
that I can't get over. Yeah, because honestly, the whole like there's $9 billion the government kind of forgot about in some slush fund. I'm like, yeah, there's probably way more of those in the real world. But the amount of interest like that this takes from not even like I do think he says just like interest like
over time.
So you'd figure like 2-3% or something like that. Yeah. But the amount of money that when you figure in like how much time actually takes place, it's like maybe 20 years this is in this account.
Not even 15.
It's 15, yeah.
86 to 2001. 86 to 2001.
So yeah, it is insane how much money this makes.
Yeah, no, the number I quoted is math people have done. It would have to be a 24% interest account to accrue that much money.
I love it.
Yeah,
like
Mr. Whatever, Mr. Swordfish guy, just fucking steal the account. You don't even need the rest of it. Just the stock portfolio that these guys are working with is going to make you guys way more rich in the long term than whatever you're going to do with this $9 billion.
And Nando, what is he going to do with this $9 billion? Well, it's in the IMDb summary, but essentially he is going to fund counterterrorism efforts to make it so that no one will ever fuck with the United States of America ever again.
So that's true, but
Diggins.
Something about that really caught the attention of the wheel.
Disc.
Yeah, the disc wanted us to know that this is Dick Cheney's favorite movie.
It probably is.
God.
Because we're gonna talk about what John Travolta's plan is now.
Please. Diggins, do you want to take this over?
Yeah. So as Nando was saying, his plan is to fund counterterrorism efforts. It turns out it's this whole thing. He was like working with a U.S. senator who he then kills because the senator doesn't trust him.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It matters so little. It matters.
It doesn't matter at all. But that does happen.
Guy sucks.
Yeah.
He murders a U.S. senator. Because he is part of Black Cell, a sort of like part of the FBI, because he says it was set up by J. Edgar Hoover. That's like does like deep cover, like black ops operations that the U.S. government doesn't even know about to protect the United States interests. So he's like, I've got to protect America from the evil terrorists. And the way we're going to do that is anytime a terrorist does anything to us, we're going to murder 10 times as many innocent civilians until they stop. Which is like really, I'm not like exaggerating or making it up. He's like, if they blow up a hospital, we'll blow up 10 hospitals. If they blow up one of our planes, we'll blow up an entire airport. Everyone knows not to mess with us.
If they blow up 2 of our skyscrapers, we'll go blow up 20 of their skyscrapers.
Apparently. That's the going rate, according to Black Cell.
Fucking crazy.
Also, I didn't know this.
No one will fuck with us again.
Apparently, Black Cell is a season a battle pass for Call of Duty.
Oh, really?
At some point, but I don't know if it's a current one. But yeah, that's the best I could find. It doesn't seem like it's a real thing, but just cosmetics and Call of Duty mostly.
So this is the part where we said it's so weird that this movie came out before 9/11, because a mere 3 months after its release, we got to put that doctrine into practice, and it turns out it's the worst idea anyone has ever had.
So that's my question about this movie. Are you supposed to leave the movie going like, he really is an American hero? Or are you supposed to leave the movie going like, this guy is a little kooky?
I think they're going for the balance of like, he goes too far, but maybe he has a point.
Yeah, we're glad he's there. It's so weird.
And it turns out, hey, actually, if you go around murdering thousands of people who aren't related to the things you're mad about,
yeah,
it turns out that makes things worse, actually.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that... So I don't think we have these guys specifically, but like if this thing existed in the real world, you figure you'd want to like know about them? You know, like this would have to be something everybody's heard of. Otherwise, none of this works. But like at the end, we get a little news report that's like a terrorist thingy has been destroyed today. And that was... Did they say who exactly did it? Like, are they like, it was this guy and his secret little band of guys? I cannot remember.
They're just like, this terrorist was on a yacht that mysteriously exploded. A lot of terrorists have been dying lately. It's super weird. Anyway, sports.
Right. Yeah, so I feel like for that, you need to have like a little guy that's like, where are the secret guys who kill all the terrorists, so don't even fuck with us. Because otherwise, you just assume it's America doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and then they'd start attacking America again.
Everyone doing it secretly is the worst, because then everyone thinks America's doing it, and they probably get in trouble with a bunch of governments that like then become hostile to them, which again is all what happened.
And also, even if it's not the American government, it's an American guy, you know, like he's John Travolta's. I think he's maybe not from America in the movie, right?
Well,
did they say that at one point?
At one point, they're like, we got the dental records from Israel for a Mossad agent.
Right.
I think that's like...
Like part of the trick. Yeah. But so yeah, he's supposed to be all mysterious and stuff, but his whole crew is made of Americans, basically, except for Vinnie Jones. But I feel like we're going to get in trouble when they get caught, even though they're going to be like, we're not working with the government. I'm like, but you are.
And they're like, you have $9 billion. How are you not with the government? Get out of here.
Yeah. Where did you get it from? Oh, we got it from the government, but like a different thing.
But like,
you remember that time everything exploded that one day? That was us. Also, how is he not a national news figure at this point? He's like walking out and doing like, this guy cannot exist anymore. I guess he gets a haircut, and his hair was so preposterous before, no one would expect it. But like,
and he shaves a soul patch.
And he shaves a little hair, yeah.
Well, so let's get to it. So we're really building up to the preparation for the climax of the movie. There's one funny scene I want to highlight that the disc is yelling at me about, where Hugh Jackman, like, he's doing his big hack where he's like drinking wine and he's like dancing to music and he's clicking clacking so hard. All 7 screens are going, and then he doesn't do it, but then he does it. He like does, I guess it was like the setup for his big hack, because like the hack is happening like over time.
Well, he needs to make the thing that's going into
it.
That's like right. The hack is about this little
the worm.
Squares or fucking whatever. It's like a little cube of squares.
He designed a little visual interface for this hack that nobody needs to use besides him.
He wanted to know. He's like, I can make progress over time.
It's cool looking.
It's like checking off things off a list. So that happens, but so there's a little bit of a reveal where Hugh Jackman, he's going to get another bottle of wine. He goes to the wine cellar at the Airbnb they're staying at, and then he like sees something that's odd. Like, oh, what is that? And it's like behind a thing of glass, he sees what appears to be the deceased corpse of Gabriel Scheer.
Instead of the living corpse of Gabriel Scheer.
Exactly. Well, is that what we've been seeing this whole time? And then he goes outside and there's Gabriel Scheer, and we kind of just leave that there for a bit.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, well, never mind. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Not going to follow up with this.
Well, this isn't one of those scenes where like he's so crazy. Like, I feel like if this character was like doing acid or something while he was hacking, you'd maybe be like, oh, he thinks he's hallucinating. But like, he doesn't though, right? Like, he knows he saw that. Kind of.
Yeah, because he thinks about it later.
Yeah. So I guess he had a lot going on that day. But
yeah, well, because right after that, before he has time to process this, Gabriel's like, come with me. He's like, come with me. But they're like driving out, and Gabriel's like pontificating about all this shit he talks about. But then they're run up on by some guys, and there's a whole car chase, shootout.
Yeah.
Fucking John Travolta pulls out a machine gun and like kills a bunch of guys, blows up a car. And Hugh Jackman's like, what the fuck is going on? And those guys, were they like the FBI?
Those were the Senator's guys.
Oh, right. The
Senator sent guys to kill John Travolta because John Travolta wouldn't stop doing the plan even after the FBI found out who he is.
Right. So he finds that out. That leads John Travolta to go kill the senator because, eye for an eye and whatnot. Now here we go. Because
Thomas Jefferson once shot a traitor on the White House lawn,
which he did not.
So I have to kill this U.S. senator.
Also, when he is talking to the senator, he is wearing the most adorable outfit. He puts on his little war beret and his little war trench coat or whatever. It's so funny. I have to assume he only uses this for stuff like this. But it's a great look, I'm really happy for him.
Yeah. So then basically John Travolta tells Hugh Jackman, all right, you did it. You did the thing. You got your $10 million because you made the worm, and I'm going to get to do my heist. And, before that, I'm going to tell you, I don't know why, for some reason, I'm going to tell you about Black Cell. I'm going to tell you the whole thing I'm doing. And this kind of makes Hugh Jackman turn a little bit, I guess, because
it makes him totally turn. He runs away.
Yeah. But I mean, sorry, I don't know what the shift is. Like, why? Like, he already saw him kill all the people. Maybe the turn already happened, but this was enough for him to be like, I'm done.
I think it's reasonable for him to be like, I thought you were just going to steal a bunch of money and then go drink wine on the French Riviera or whatever.
Right.
I didn't know you were going to use this to fund murder squads that are going to kill thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people for the rest of forever.
Especially with that 25% interest, they're never gonna have to stop. They just can go and go and go.
So now essentially here we are at the beginning of the movie, resuming, where it is the heist.
Because Hugh Jackman is forced to participate because
right.
Oh right, they have his daughter.
The daughter thing.
Yep. Yeah. This is when the mom and stepdad die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, because
of the evil porn.
Right, because of evil porn. So now Hugh Jackman has to be involved because the daughter's been kidnapped, and now we have here it is. It's the beginning of the movie. It is the heist. Okay.
I do want to. Real quick before you get off it, the wheel is making the wobble 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 sound.
So
or excuse me, the disc. As we're going wobble wobble wobble. And just want to read what it's saying here. It's saying, hey, maybe check the money. They may have 3 instances in this movie of a character just picking up a phone or something and going, hi, sir, you have $1 million in the account. That's great. And then hanging up the phone. Or later, when they keep checking the accounts to see if the accounts are going, there's a guy whose job is to go, it's good. And then he keeps getting fucked by Hugh Jackman. But it seems like with these guys, you could just go tap the keyboard lock and go, $28 billion is in your account. And he's like, fuck. All right, it is. They're so bad for bank robbers at the money stealing part. They're really mostly in it for the bus and rockets and whatever.
We'll get to the bus. All right. Well, first, before we get to the bus, okay. So the big explosion happened. It is found out that the worm hacking thing, whatever, isn't working. And Hugh Jackman's like, oh, it's because the bomb scrambled the timer. And Gabriel's like, nah, you fucked me over, Stanley. So apparently what Stanley did is he made it so the money jumps from various different accounts every 60 seconds. It's just moving around the world. And it's you'll never get it. And I guess it excites some people for a minute. You log in and you're like, whoa, that's amazing.
I'm checking my account every day, if that's the story. Checking it every second. Just
right. And then you withdraw, right? You do a big withdrawal so you get the money, right?
You gotta stand by the ATM, be ready to punch everything in 60 seconds.
Right, yeah, it's like Taylor Swift tickets. If you don't get it within a minute, it goes away and you're like, fuck.
Give me $9 billion. So Gabriel is upset. So he says, hey, you're going to fix this or I'm going to kill Halle Berry. Ginger is her name.
Ginger, which we haven't mentioned this yet, but do you guys know why that's interesting?
Why?
This is technically, well, I mean, maybe that as well. According to, I don't know who this was, probably Matthew Vaughn. This is the same character in the Kingsman movie that she's in, where she is also named Ginger. Oh. This is supposed to be the origin of that hacker character, kind of. I mean, she's not really a hacker, but like she becomes a hacker, I guess, after that. It's supposed to be the same character.
Oh,
that's why she's named Ginger in that one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that stupid?
But
it is. This is the past of the Kingsman character?
I guess it takes place in the past of the Kingsman verse. Yeah.
Cool.
Even though that Kingsman character acts nothing like this character?
Well, after this, her whole life changed. You know, like she changes her whole deal.
She has
becomes a lot like Hugh Jackman.
She's probably got half a $9 billion, right? It's
yeah. And it's probably like 80 trillion by the time the Kingsman movies take place. So. Yeah.
Good point.
They put it back in the 24% count.
So put more in. Get as much as you can. Like.
Well,
you can't take it with you, Diggins. Okay, so he says, hack this or I'm gonna kill her. So they hang her from like a crane, and they're like, she's gonna die in 60 seconds unless you fix this. And Hugh Jackman's like, I have no choice, so he fixes it. Halle Berry is saved, but then he's like, fuck it, and Gabriel shoots her. Just because he's that
like
kind
with a gun right in front of him. Like just bang, there it went. And
you
we're
see
like,
the blood. Oh wow.
Yeah. Also, we haven't really talked about this because it hasn't come up. But at one point, and this may be important later, Gabriel was talking to fucking what's his name, Wolverine, in the car and saying, "Do you know how a mystery guy or a magician did all his wonderful
Houdini.
magic? Harry Houdini.
Harry Houdini did
misdirection. You look at one thing and then the other thing happened, and it's like, okay, nerd. What does this have to do with anything?" He's like, never mind. Here, I'm going to take 2 guns and get out the sunroof and shoot every car in sight because that's how that scene ends. But yeah, it's just a little hint maybe for something in the future. I don't think this is ever explained, like the same way where we see the little scene where he sneaks behind the helicopter. But I'd love to see it. The scene where they swap her in for I don't know what, like a real plastic version of her.
Was she wearing like body armor with a blood packet? Like,
yeah, no, because later they're like, we didn't find a body, so I think it is her. She's like wearing a vest or something.
Yeah, under all that thin dresses that she wears, she's got even her vest.
Good job, DJ. You found the one logical inconsistency going on here.
The 5th time you've said this.
Wait, but they were gonna hang her though. I guess maybe she's like ride or die for these fools.
Well, she does $9 billion at the end.
You see, she gets the hand in, and like,
yeah,
it's not comfortable, but like. That's like a technique they use in filming. Like you get your hand in like that, it's not going to choke you.
Yeah, it's a little staged. Yeah. So, okay, now there's a bus, and John Travolta's like, all right, I'm getting all the hostages. I'm getting on the bus. Stanley, you're getting on the bus, and the bus is going to escort us to LAX to get on a plane. And the FBI's like, all right, we'll play ball. But because of the FBI and their cops, they're not going to play ball. It leads to a big old police chase, and how are they going to escape this?
Is it a police chase or like an escort? I feel like that's
at one point it is a chase. It is a chase at one point.
Well, it's an escort, but then they start going a different way.
Yeah. Which necessitates the chase. It's like they're not doing what we told them to. So what do? They do the only thing you can do in this situation. A helicopter comes by and it drops hooks, and they hook the helicopter to the bus, and the helicopter lifts the bus into the city.
Yep.
Fucking brilliant.
It's one of those big old helicopters that would like be able to hold a bus, I guess, or something.
I don't even want to get into transport. It's just not. No, we're putting a big old nope on this part of the scene. But so now the police chase continues. Hugh Jackman does some cool action stuff. This bus is swinging everywhere. By the way, it's swinging into buildings. It's taking out board meetings. Like this bus is wreaking havoc.
John Travolta has to tell the driver to climb because they're going to plow into a building, and they barely make it. But like, there's a version of this movie where John Travolta's busy telling him some fucking story about some secret government program or whatever, and they just all explode because one of them would explode, then the rest of them would all explode. They're all wearing bombs.
I intend to go through everything that had to happen for John Travolta's plan to work by the end of this movie.
All right, so I'll get to the end because this is probably what we're talking about. You know, we're basically
we gotta get to the end first.
Yeah. So they have to drop the bus on a building because I think the bus hit a building and it's like falling off. So John Travolta gets out and he's like, hey, he arms all the vests. He's like, hey, if you get out, I'm gonna blow up all these vests. So John Travolta gets out. He gets into the helicopter that goes away. Luckily, though, guys, you'll never believe it, Hugh Jackman finds an RPG, a rocket-powered grenade, inside the bus. Why was it there?
He conspicuously saw Vinnie Jones packing it away earlier, so he knew it was there.
Yeah. And thankfully, even with no training, unless this guy was in the army or something, he takes it out, aims at the helicopter, one shot, blows it up.
Yeah.
Boom.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gabriel dead. Okay.
And like, listen, if I'm him, I'm like, I'm probably not going to hit this helicopter, right? Like, even if he's really good at
Dude,
the helicopter can do shit. But also, even if he hits the helicopter, which he does, what's under the helicopter? I may wonder. The streets of Los Angeles, I assume, right? Like this just fire rain upon the just parts of helicopters are falling over everybody. Like Hugh Jackman's going to jail forever, dude. He's done. I don't get it.
Yep.
Yeah, just let the police who had like planes and helicopters ready to scramble after their plane once they took off, arrest the slow-moving helicopter.
Right.
That isn't armed, I don't think. I mean, maybe they got guns aboard, but like taking that thing out. Okay, well, but that happens and it's fine. Don Cheadle's like, you did a good job. So now, it's a little later. Don Cheadle and Hugh Jackman go to the coroner's office to identify the body, and there it is. It's all burnt up, scarred Gabriel Shear right there in front of him.
What?
Even matches the dental records from Israel.
Matches the dental records from Israel. But the Don Cheadle's boys comes in and they're like, there's no Ginger, no body, no records, like no DEA. Call the DEA. They're like, what? That's crazy. Nothing. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. And then Hugh Jackman starts thinking, wait a minute, what were all the things that happened over the past 2 days or whatever? And he's like, oh yeah,
what's
Gabriel
my
ran
usual
away or
suspects flashbacks as I look around my office?
Yes, Diggins, do you want to walk through this, like all the things that would have had to happen to make this even kind of make sense?
Yeah. So he basically already said like what happened. Like he faked his death, and so did Ginger, and they've made it away with the money. So here is a step-by-step. I guess we'll do a
the disc.
The disc wants us to do a step-by-step run-through of John Travolta's plan in this movie. And we'll go with the parts where everything went as far as we can tell according to plan. Because like he hires the Finnish guy gets arrested. Doesn't seem like he intended for that to happen. But everything from when he hires Hugh Jackman. So he has Ginger go bring him in, does this blowjob test, has her flirt with him or whatever, so that there's some sexual tension there. Has him catch her undressing while wearing a wire.
Yep.
So that he can think that she's DEA. And trusts, I guess, that he won't like tell him or try to do anything with that information or anything, or be like, hey, how can I help? Let's do some DEA stuff.
See, just in that moment. Oh, sorry, go on.
We'll just decide to sit on it.
In that moment, I read that as a test that Gabriel was doing to see if Hugh Jackman would do what Halle Berry, actually we know the name, Ginger wanted him to or something. And if he was loyal to her. So that I get. I do think it's really funny that she was just fucking standing there all day with the thing. Because he wasn't supposed to be there at that time. So I
have to imagine
he's
just walking randomly into this room because it's his room.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, and so at no point is he like, why are you undressing in my room?
Yeah, but anyway, listen.
He
fell a lot that day, so he kind of forgot everything.
So he's got that all set up. Again, the murdering the senator is probably not part of his plan. It's just a thing that happens. The day of is where things really get insane. So he has Huge Ackman make this worm that he can use. And then, before he tells him everything, has Huge Ackman's ex-wife and her husband murdered and his daughter kidnapped, just in case he isn't cool with what they're doing.
Yep.
Like, imagine if Huge Ackman had been like, yeah, that sounds good. He would have been like, oh, this is actually super awkward now. Whoops. Oh, did a little murder.
What if he's like, oh, I've read about Black Cell. That's tight. I love that. Let's go.
See, again, I don't want to have to apologize for the movie, but I think this one makes sense too. I feel like he probably had guys outside his apartment and was like, if you get the call from me, you got to go get all his people. And if you don't, then just let him go. And that was probably how he was playing that one. But anyway.
Then we get to the day of the heist. He has all the hostages rigged up with these bombs, goes across the street to get a coffee with Huge Ackman and Don Cheadle, and then walks back for some reason.
Oh my god!
So he can tell them
show
his
how
cool
fucking
little
cool he is. Yeah,
do his cool little Dog Day Afternoon story.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "All right, Huge Ackman, we have your daughter. Go do the cool hack for me." And then so Huge Ackman does the cool hack, and they start to leave. And I guess he knew that Huge Ackman would betray him, but knew that the betrayal would accidentally go off too early so that he could catch it before Huge Ackman left.
Yes.
And then, knowing he would lose the daughter, has set up the backup threat of being like, you care about Ginger, so I'm going to kill Ginger instead. And does that whole threat to get him to undo the fake hack and do a real, and like, you know, set up the money for him for real this time.
Yep.
Then he pretends to kill Ginger so that she'll, you know, have an, you know, not get caught up in all this and she'll get to escape. Trusting or knowing that the police are not going to leave anyone behind to sweep the area and be like, there's a dead body here. Oh, wait, she's alive. We better talk to this lady.
Well, and also, like, they can see all this. The police can see what's going on in here. It's empty. Like, so they would go like, oh, her, right. The one in the red outfit that was struggling on the thing. She's probably, where'd that body go?
Send in the paramedics to go get that body.
Yeah, she might be okay.
While we go do the thing.
But
then plans for this helicopter to come pick him up and somehow successfully and safely make it through the skyline of LA while Vinnie Jones packs away an RPG, making sure that Huge Ackman will see him do that.
Yep.
Well, I do think they go out of their way in this scene to, like, give Vinnie Jones that fucking humongous line. Do you remember the line that Vinnie Jones says about the RPG?
No.
It's like,
could I put it up your ass?
Yeah, I bet you're wondering if I could sodomize you with this RPG, and I would if, and then you'd want to get your brains blown out, you fucking guy. And I feel like I feel like a lot of the Gabriel plan is like, whatever is going on, they're like, listen, everybody's wearing your, blood packs in case we have to pretend to shoot you and stuff, and you're going to improv stuff on the day. And Vinnie Jones's guy just doesn't have good improv skills. And when his thing happened and he had to improv a line about, like, say the word RPG pretty loud so everybody can hear it. It's like, I'm going to fucking fuck you with the RPG so hard, you're going to fucking hate it. It's like, oh, Vinnie Jones, we shouldn't have let you do this one. Don't we have any other guys? No. Yeah, I'm gonna put the RPG up your butt, man. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But then, so they'll be able to eventually get the bus to a roof where the helicopter can also land in such a way that Huge Ackman won't be hurt, but will be like knocked away or otherwise not looking enough for them to take the dead body and like squirrel it away, stuff it onto the helicopter, and then pretend to fly away. And also, hopefully there's a staircase right nearby that they can run down while this is happening. So the helicopter, which I guess they either didn't tell the pilot or Like, he was so committed to the cause, he was willing to die. He takes off. And then, as you guys said, Hugh Jackman will remember the RPG, remember where it is. It hasn't been knocked away or jostled or like gone off because of all the stuff that happened until now. He will be able to assemble it and like aim it and fire it and actually hit the helicopter that is actively flying away. It's not like they're like hovering like, ooh, hope he hits us soon.
Mm-hmm.
And all that will happen so that his death can be faked. And then he will go downstairs.
Yeah.
In this building, currently surrounded by cops and FBI, and make a clean getaway.
In this building that's so currently surrounded by cops and FBI, I'm pretty sure some of the FBI agents are already on the roof.
Yeah.
So like everybody's there. They all went up this thing. So yeah. And he's still the guy from the heist, even if it doesn't have FBI agents in it. He's the guy on TV a block away or whatever, a couple streets down, who just blew up the bank. And everybody in town is watching this happen. And then that guy runs by your cubicle on the way to the elevator. Like everybody would notice that.
And he's made no effort to hide his identity. He's fully
absolutely zero.
With his weird soul patch and everything, just on TV all day.
Mm-hmm. That part I think is the craziest.
And all of it works. They get away.
Yeah, it reminds me, it's kind of like, I like a good conspiracy theory. I think obviously we have like some really, really weird ones with like our 9/11 conspiracy theories. But this is like if part of the 9/11 conspiracy involved Osama bin Laden being in the World Trade Center also, or something like that. Like, it's just so that part of it just doesn't track for me at all. Everything else I got him fine with, but I just hate that part so much.
So the cadaver or whatever, the body that they fake identified, that was like loaded onto the helicopter. That was the one Hugh Jackman saw earlier. It's like that,
yeah,
what we're supposed to believe.
But where was it?
I guess it must have been in the bus, right? Or it was on the helicopter.
Yeah,
maybe it was always on the helicopter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then how did Halle Berry? She was wearing a bulletproof vest and then ran away.
And all the cops and paramedics left. There's no one there, so she just got up and walked away.
Yeah,
yep.
For her. Oh.
I mean, misdirection, classic magician's trick. When you're looking at one thing, you think maybe it's the other thing.
They sure do that.
I did like that line where he says, I don't remember what the line is, but it's something to the effect of like, you remember that movie Dog Day Afternoon? It didn't like the ending. And then he like does his big crazy bullshit. I think most of his lines in this movie were bad and weird. That one was cool. But yeah, they pretty much like maybe take down a building. Like there's one bit where I forget the scene. This scene has happened a lot in a lot of things. It happens in one of the Spider-Man movies where people are just casually in an office and then in the background somebody sees that the bus is coming in and it just takes out that floor. Like,
right.
Just fucking, it's crazy. Crazy how much destruction there is. That like and I know the movie doesn't think he's the terrorist, but like this is the 9/11 of its day. For sure. There would be conspiracy theories that he is working with Osama bin Laden or something. It would just, yeah.
I feel like the ending, I'm not sure how much they think he's a terrorist or not. Because he is like the villain of the movie. But also, the movie ends with him getting away and like he has all the money and gets to do his stuff. And Hugh Jackman realizes that happened. But when Don Cheadle's like, so it's all over, right? Hugh Jackman is like, yup, it's all over. Goodbye forever. And doesn't tell him, like, actually, I think he's still out there.
Yeah.
This might be an issue.
Yeah, it's just well, that's none of my business.
And also, I do feel like the end of the movie skips the part where somehow Hugh Jackman doesn't go to jail forever, right? Like, I don't understand how he's walking free. Him and his daughter are, like, having a great life with the RV. Like, if they escaped with Gabriel so that they could have another life or something, I'd kind of buy it. But it seems like him and Don Cheadle were like, I can get off, right? I don't have to go to jail if I exploded them with the rocket. And Don Cheadle's like, absolutely not. Everything you've done up until this point is cool. Everything's
That's
good.
actually a law in California. Yeah. If you murder someone who's done more crimes than you get all your crimes wiped clean.
Every single crime. Even the crimes that were like when he drove the car through all the other cars and they took out the minigun and blew up all the other cars. Like, That is all cool.
That was crazy when she got the minigun. That was so
insane,
gratuitous, man.
It's more of a machine gun than a minigun.
Yeah, technically it's not a minigun, but it might as well have been a minigun. It was a gun that's too big to just have in a car. It's a gun that has a whole case, probably.
Right.
And like, even when he was doing it with two pistols, I was like, this is a little much, but at least, I don't know. It's kind of funny, but yeah, such an awful. That part sucks. Yeah, weird movie.
But hey,
yeah,
he got a Dan Aykroyd, so
he did get a Dan Aykroyd.
Impossible to say if it's bad or not.
Yeah, that's true. Jury's out, I think, once you get the Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie treats him like the Saw movies treat Jigsaw, where he is like doing things, but it's like for a good cause, kind of. But like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'd have to see a review from 2001. People didn't like this movie when it came out, but I want to see if they were like, but at least he had a good thing to say about terror. Like, here's the question. Do you think when they were making this movie, they were like, this is important that we're doing this. This is going to change some minds about we've been too easy on, I guess, the Middle East or something.
I sure hope not.
I mean,
well, given what happened 3 months later, maybe.
Yeah. Insane.
Somebody watched it. David Frum was sitting taking notes like, ooh, this is some good stuff.
Oh, no. I do want to say, what was I going to say? How much money did this movie make? Was it a hit?
No.
Yeah, no, I guess not. $100 million budget, 147.1 million box office. So, not great. But, them's the breaks.
Them's is the breaks.
Oh, but John Travolta's performance did earn him a Razzie Award nomination for Worst Actor. Also a movie called Domestic Disturbance that same year. So
there you go. The Razzies aren't something we've all turned on and have decided and have, I would say, realized, because I agree with this, realized are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they can't, broken clock. But anything else about Swordfish?
Nah, it sure was a watch. It's like a lot of debt. It's like, oh, glad I got that off my back. It's one less thing I got to worry about.
I appreciate whoever picked this one. I think this was a good choice for a nitpicking movie.
Yeah, I liked it too. I like any movie that has hacking in it. I think no matter what it is, that will always be fun.
Hey, maybe one day we can do Hackers.
We could do Hackers.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the other one that's really, really bad? I can't remember. But there's some really rough hacking movies. That all came out around this time too, because this was the hot shit.
Hacking was so hot. Oh, one last thing. There was like an escalation where it's like, oh, it's like a 512 bit. What are we gonna do? At the very end, Hugh Jackman goes, I put it behind a 1024 bit. I couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
Oh. Except it turns out that's a lie, and he can do it in 60 seconds.
It's so fucking stupid.
Oh, am I thinking of The Net? I might be thinking of The Net.
Oh, yeah, The Net's a good one.
And like, I'm looking at a list here. So I Googled worst hacking scenes, and you'll never guess what's number one.
Is it the blowjob scene?
The blowjob scene, yeah. But after that, there's a list of some others, and yeah, there were a lot of really weird ones. But yeah, the Hackers, The Net, Swordfish, Superman 3, weird hacking movie, Die Hard 4, weird hacking movie. But yeah, pretty good. So you guys want to get to our classic segment?
I would love to.
That.
Let's do it. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Probably. I'm trying to think like, you guys got to remind me. Did I recommend the Sonic Roll and Go game?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yay!
Yeah,
okay.
Never even heard of this.
Yay! Okay, so this is a game that I actually picked up at PAX. I was so enamored with it. It's called Sonic Roll. So what this game does, cute concept. Essentially, it's supposed to be like the original Sonic the Hedgehog, like kind of like platformer. But the way you do it is that you build the stage like the zone, and then you pick one of the characters to play. They each kind of different abilities. It's co-op, co-op competitive. You roll dice, and then the dice are how you advance through the stage. And it's how like you beat the enemies and eventually beat the boss. There's like a little bonus stage if you get enough rings. I think it's adapted like pretty well for something that's like, you know, one of these games that it's like heavily relying on the IP. You're mostly buying it for the IP. But Michelle and I demoed this game at PAX and like we kind of liked it. I like roll and goes. For me, they're nice like chill games. I find them to be. So I kind of like the experience of that. And like I do think like there's a very basic barrier to entry is that like you have to like the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. But if you clear that one, then I think this is like a very cute thing to have. I play a game like this and I expect it to be like, oh, this is going to be very bad. It's just like leaning on the IP. The gameplay won't be good. But I was like pleasantly surprised at this adaptation. It's not a great game by any measure, but it is absolutely fun. So yeah, if you're a Sonic fan, check it out. It's called Sonic Roll. I think you get it on like Amazon. But it's yeah, I think it's a good one. My like probably like next like 3 weeks of Rex are going to be just like a backlog of games that I played at PAX because I have a couple that I'm thinking of. And yeah, it is on Amazon. It's like $40, but it comes with like a lot of dice. And like the box art's all nice. You can play as Amy.
Yeah, the box art is cute.
You can play as Amy and Knuckles and Sonic and Tails, and there's a couple other ones in there. But yeah, I like this, and yeah, it's the games all the way down. Except I'll probably be like Severance. Oh my god! Oh, and I know Nando recommended Squid Game. I finished Squid Game. I will just say I thought this season was great, except I didn't love the last episode because I thought it was like a weird kind of divergence from the series, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't think this is what we were doing. But some people like it, and I get it. Maybe I'll think it's better once I see the final product later this year with everyone else. So anyway,
have you seen all the cool trailers for season 3 that are out?
I have not.
They all have a big weird AI thumbnail. There's so many bad AI like Squid Game season 3 trailers on YouTube, and they're really rough. So you know,
all the ones
I think
Leo?
it comes out this. All the ones with Leo, yeah, exactly. I do think the third season comes out this year.
It does,
in the summer. So I'll probably get one of them soon. But yeah, all the ones that are out now are weird and fake and.
I love the. What was the one I saw? It was Interstellar 2, new Interstellar 2 trailer. I'm like, what?
I was hoping, yeah. What happens to, you know, that guy? I want Interstellar 1.5, and it's just that one guy who had to live on the space station for forever,
right?
And him being upset, you know, guy's life sucked.
So anyway, that's my rec. Diggins, how about you?
I watched a movie recently. One of last year's movies, so I'm still doing a little bit of a catch up on things I missed from last year. It's a movie called Evil Does Not Exist. It's the latest movie by Ryusuke Hamaguchi, who did Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy and Drive My Car, which are two movies I've wrecked before. It's about this like rural community in Japan, because Bluesky Hamaguchi is a Japanese filmmaker, where there's like a company is developing a glamping site there. And so they're sort of like trying to get input from the community, and the community isn't a big fan of the idea. And it's like many of his movies, it's this very deliberate kind of very slow, just glimpse into people's lives. So like there's not a lot that happens per se. I mean, there's a lot that happens, but like it's not like your Swordfish, you know, mile a minute plots. It's not, no, you're not going to see anybody do a good hack while getting a blowjob in Evil Does Not Exist. But but I really enjoyed it as kind of this like very contemplative. It has a very I want to say controversial, very ambiguous ending that a lot of people discuss, which I was surprised by. But yeah, it's kind of just about like, it's mostly about two of the the two executives who are supposed to be like selling this idea to the residents, and one of the residents who's like an odd job man who everyone knows and like knows the area really well, and sort of a back and forth between them and like getting to know them and like their lives and like what motivates them. It's really interesting. It's a very kind of philosophical movie, but I think it's well worth watching. And it's on the Criterion Channel. Very easy if you have that service. And it's only, unlike Drive My Car, which is a movie that's over 3 hours long, it's only an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
So, what about you, Nando? Anything to rep?
I've been watching, so I'll say I did watch Nikki Glaser's new comedy special, Someday You'll Die. I think it's pretty funny.
Wow. You're a real fan of Nikki Glaser, Nando.
I am a real fan. You know, I come out for my girl, and I think she did a great job at the presenting, you know, but that's like one of those things where it's like, I feel like if you show someone the Golden Globes presenting, you'll be like, that's kind of funny. And it's like, yeah, that's as funny as that person can be in that scenario. But when you see your stand-up, I feel like it's better. I do think there's some bits about... there's some bits that I think resonated with me in very specific ways that were really funny. So I enjoyed that. It's on HBO. I don't remember if I did I wreck that Carry On movie last time? The one with Taron Egerton? Where he's in a plane and stuff. It's pretty stupid, but I liked it.
If you wrecked it, I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a full recommendation, but it was fun. There was an episode of Always Sunny or Abbott Elementary that had the Always Sunny characters in it, so I watched it. I liked that. It's not as good as Always Sunny, but I enjoyed it more than I usually do with Abbott Elementary. So there you go. I watched 2 shows this week that I really liked. One I finished. It is also in the kind of Joey realm of lost media. So I had to watch it on like Daily Motion or something. But it's a show called Powerless. I was always curious about it because it seemed so
CW
weird.
Show?
It was. I don't think it was CW, but I can't remember what network it was. Maybe even. No, it was.
It's about the regular people in the DC universe.
Yes, so it was originally kind of about something else. I think it was originally about insurance salesmen, and then it got retooled right before it came out to be about a company that makes kind of like protection stuff so that you don't get murdered by superheroes every day. Stars Vanessa Hudgens is like the main character, and then the guy Alan Tudyk from 8 Roles in the Creature Commandos and stuff. He plays her boss, who is a Wayne, but not a Wayne of note, but like a shitty one, who owns this company. And I didn't love it, but I kind of enjoyed it. Every so often you could feel they kind of forgot it was about a superhero world and it was just about these guys having problems, and I didn't really like that as much. But I think whenever they got into the kind of weirdness of being in superhero world, it's kind of fun. I wouldn't say it's like you got to go watch it, but it's definitely something that I did watch.
It was an NBC show.
It was NBC. Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
I only know like one episode of the show. I never watched it, but it's the one where Lois Lane dies and they're all like, oh, Superman's going to turn back time again. Nothing we do today matters. Which is a fun premise.
That is the best, I think, premise for the show. But like a lot of these, it starts with that premise and then they just go do stuff, and it's like, I'm going to go have a crazy adventure at the zoo. And it's like, no, do some other thing. Do something you can't do in a normal show, but whatever. It was cute. And that one is cute because it's like Lois Lane dies and everybody's sad. And then the one guy's like, but I read this conspiracy theory the other day. And they show it to him. And then the next thing you see on the news is like Stephen Hawking is like streaking down the, court of a football game. And they're like, oh, shit, the scientists know that this doesn't count. So it's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I will say, not as good as the other show I watched, which is on Peacock, speaking of NBC, a new one that's based on an Australian show, I believe, called Laid. Did I wreck this last week? I don't think so.
I believe so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we've watched it yet at that time. So it's it stars what's her name? Everything Everywhere All at Once, the kid, Golden Glider on that stupid DC. Stephanie Sue, that's right. And she is a girl who, she's like an adult, who is like has lots of sex, you know, like a real mess of a person, whatever. I know. She has a history where she, because of different, you know, issues and stuff and like different stuff in her past, she has had a long like history of like bad relationships, and she continues to do that into the beginning of the show. But in the, I guess it's the first episode, she realizes that all of her ex-boyfriends are dying in the order that she had sex with them. So she has to figure out what's going on and kind of stop the chain of destruction. And it's ways that you're like, well, this can't be somebody doing this. Like, that is a completely random event, but it's like something's up. And it's about her kind of confronting that, but also it's just a really funny show.
So does she have an It Follows monster?
Like, I don't know. I haven't finished it yet, but something like that. It definitely seems like it's like I said, it, by the time the second guy dies, you're like, okay, well, this can't be somebody like deliberately doing this, because that would be impossible. But it's got a lot of famous people, and not like famous people, but like people you'd recognize from stuff. The best one of those is what is his name? He's the guy who was on. Doesn't want to pay the bill. I
Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, that guy. What is his name? He's only one episode, so he doesn't show up really. It's pretty far down on the cast list. But he's really funny because he plays himself, and it's a good silly little role. John Early, yeah. So that part was great. But yeah, no, I like that show a lot. I think it's very fun, and it's got a very stupid sense of humor. Like, it doesn't take itself super seriously, and it stars Zosha Mamet, who we all remember from last year's Madam Web. But she's funny in this instead of boring. The only other thing I'll recommend, and this is like a soft rec because it's only one issue in, Magik, the character from Marvel Rivals and presumably other things, got a solo comic. This first issue came out, and it's pretty good. I like that character, and I think even though she's had kind of solo-ish stories, this is her first like actual solo series. It's by Ashley Allen, who wrote some Magic stuff before, and the artist is named what is his name? Herman Peralta. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm excited for that. There's a lot of good comic stuff going on. But that is, you know, the one that caught my attention this week. I've been waiting for this for a while. So very good. What do we do next week, fellas?
Episode 1 of Joey.
Yeah, we are now the Joey Podcast. We're the official Joey Podcast.
I was closing out some browser windows, and I saw the Joey one, and I left that one open because I'm going to watch it right after this. Hell yeah. 26 minutes and, 19 seconds of pure Joey. Do you guys have anything to plug, TJ? Anything to plug?
Just check out Roses and Rejections. I think we're late on an episode. We'll probably Traders at some point. I haven't gotten to it yet. That'll definitely be a future rec because season 3 just started, and we'll be covering some other stuff. RuPaul's Drag Race probably. There's a queen from Asbury Park, New Jersey on this season. I can't remember her name. Crystal Envy. So everyone root for Crystal Envy in RuPaul's Drag Race.
When's the next like Bachelor or something? Are they not?
End of this month.
Did they give up?
I'm going to give up.
They'll never give up.
I'm so excited about this guy, but we'll see. So end of this month we'll have more Bachelor. It's been a nice reprieve, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So, Diggins, what about you?
Nope. DJ, you do know that you don't have to do that, right? Like, you don't have to do your Bachelor podcast if you don't want to do it anymore.
I don't have to do this podcast.
That's true.
Here I am.
But it's broad enough that you can do other stuff, like all the weird Nick Lachey ones or something. What if you did like one of the really weird ones from history instead? Like
the black and white one.
Like that.
I'm the co-host. I am the sub-host of that podcast. It's Michelle's show. So
Michelle's the Dom host.
She's the Dom host. Yeah.
The listeners know. Know.
Anyway, Nando, what about you?
Videos and stuff. I got videos all the time. One will be out soon about Moonstone, next card added to Marvel Snap. She is amazing. She's one of my new favorite Marvel characters because she's the psychiatrist who's evil. and use
like all psychiatrists.
Exactly. Yeah. The DC Marvel Comics has two psychiatrists: Doc Samson, the one who's friends with the Hulk and is nice and always cool, and her. She's evil and she's always using psychiatry to manipulate you. That's only really the beginning of her backstory, but like her first thing she did in her backstory was trick the guy who had the Moonstone, which is like a little rock that gives you superpowers, into quitting being Moonstone so she could take the Moonstone and become Moonstone. And like that was pretty good. So yeah, she's like a usual member of the Thunderbolts. Very fun. I also had a video that I put out about the Malice costume that Invisible Woman got in Marvel Rivals that basically makes her look like a dominatrix, and out of like without any context is very weird, but with context it's a little bit less weird. It's still pretty weird though. So all that is on Nando V Movies. And I was at a couple podcasts. I don't know when they're coming out, but I've definitely got I've got a movies to watch before you die episode where we watched Running Man, which I love. Seeing that movie again, so much fun. Apparently they're remaking that this year, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so next week we'll see. Who knows? Who knows what circle will be here, and who knows what movie the circle will be spinning about. Until then, I've been at Nando V Movies on Bluesky. I'm at Zippy by Day on Bluesky.
I'm at C Diggins on Blue Sky.
That's all I got. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Woo!
See ya.
Bye.